All of those little things melt in the mountains in my mind. August came by, saw you say bye, wanna stay by.
ISU wins in an incredible spray down, incredible series.
Pistol whip, he's already planting. What is that? Oh, but the vertical position will be able to take one.
When I'm back on a climb, you're only with me in the back of my mind now. It's a cycle, it's a path I can't find. Sisyphus, grimace is the ride. Good shot. Vulnerable. Maybe it's my fate and it's all my fault and I know.
Ooh, Kirito's also finding a kill. Kirito's finding a double kill. There's one man left. And the Regents do it. The Regents do it. They're gonna take them. They take the game. And my prediction's right. I want to say it again. Say it again for chat. Say it again for
Your
chat.
prediction was right, my bad.
Yeah.
And now this Menace is pushing down blue stairs, showing no signs of stopping. What nectar pick? Oh my gosh! What the heck, Survey? How did he get away with that? 3 won't be able to take one. Takes 2! Double kill. Now for a 1v1. The swing comes in, tries to go for a pre-fire, and the prone shot to take pencil.
Stay away from the drop though, so I don't. They only love me when I'm back on the climb. You're only with me in the back of my mind now. It's a cycle, it's a path I can't find. Sisyphus, grimace is the ride.
And they're already
Always advance, say how I fail, you know I stand. Raising the bar, I gotta expand. Top of the charts, I'm setting up camp. Pounding my stakes, I put on my tent. Shoot for the stars, they fall in my hand. Stick to my guns, I don't even flinch. Can push all you want, they moving an inch. I rarely miss, you know I'm relentless. Ain't got a choice, no way to prevent it. Just who I am, and I don't regret it. See what I want, and then I go get it. Follow my gut, I'm happy I did it. Beat all the odds.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Midwest R6 stream for week 2. We have Akron Club Gold taking on Ferris State University. I am Turbo Juggler 32, joined alongside Sojourner Kai. How are you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing pretty well myself. These games that we're going to be watching here over the next couple of maps, 2, possibly 3, depending on how the results go, seem to be some pretty high quality siege given what we've been talking about behind the scenes. But I don't want to be taking too much more of your time. We're just going to go ahead and jump right into talking about these rosters as well, which will be starting off with Akron, I believe, will be our first team.
Yep, indeed. So looking at Akron Club Gold, no stats so far for the regular season. They had a week bye last week. However, we do know that they went 6-0 in their qualifiers, defeating teams such as Northwood, Iowa State Gold, USD Black, Lindenwood Esports, UCMR6, and WSU Tech. And in those games, they only lost a combined 6 rounds. So this team is definitely a superior one to watch out for, and we need to make sure we are on high alert for how great this team could be this evening.
On the other hand, for Ferris State, we do have some stats from them from last week as well. They had a 2-1 map split, really rough on the second map on Clubhouse, going down 7-0 against their opponents. But Capilot, Zone, VDog, Julio, Florida Boy, all here to bring you the action. Overall, 29 kills across 3 maps for Zone, so definitely a player for you to look out for. And FSU didn't have quite as powerful of a start to their qualifiers. Lost 1 match against NIU Red, whom we casted last week, but otherwise we're 5-1 and won every single one of their games in regulation, including a 7-0 victory in their final qualifier match. So even if they're not as statistically strong in the qualifiers as Akron was, I think that Ferris is still a strong contender here, and I think we're going to see some really good matches out of both of these teams, and judging by these stats, we're going to see some good plays from them as well. This will take us now into our map ban phase, which we had a bit of an interesting scenario here, Turbot, if you'd like to walk us through why we're seeing Skyscraper as the first pick there.
Yeah, so heading into the matchup that we are seeing this evening, apparently Akron misclicked on the Skyscraper pick that you see. So this was not an intentional pick by them. So this is going to be very, very interesting. Beside that pick, they had banned Bank, Clubhouse, and Consulate. And their pick, again, is Skyscraper. And they're going to be going against FSU's pick in Chalet for map 2. And for FSU, they banned Lighthaven, Border, and Cafe. So, I mean, yeah, this Skyscraper pick is going to be the first map, and Akron will be starting on attack. So the question is, how how great is this unintentional pick going to be?
Not entirely sure. Chalet was one of the maps that FSU won last week, so we do feel like they do have some level of comfortability on that. And we can also bring you around to some stats that we have for these players. Now, this head-to-head stat liner that we have, of course, we don't have stats yet for Akron. Zone, we did mention, was that player who was the overall standout from last week, going 29-21 in the opening 3 matches, having at least 1 kill per round. So you know that he's good for 1. Might get traded off, but at least gets his 1. Tango is the player for Akron we decided to highlight here because we do feel that this might be a player that has a lot of impact considering the player's history across other Rainbow Six tournaments here. But that is what we have for you today. Next week, we'll have a little more stats because every team will have had played aside from Akron, who had the bye this week. And this then leads us to the MW Bets section, which for Midwest Bets, this is just talking about a player to watch on stats. We have a point betting system, so there's no money involved whatsoever. Everyone starts with 500 points. It's all on American odds. And this is really just, you're trying to predict stats for the matches this week. You're trying to then get that to have the most points by the end. We'll have a whole leaderboard. And all that everyone comes out with at the end of this is bragging rights. There's really just a lot of fun here going into the Midwest Bets section. But with that all out of the way, I think we're ready to jump right into the match because our teams are in the middle of the roster or of the lobby. Both rosters are in the lobby, and we're just waiting for the game to load up now. But yeah, I'm excited. I think that this is going to be a really interesting match because of the way that both of these teams have been top contenders for their respective regions. And even though FSU lost 1 match in their qualifiers, it was at maximum regulation time, 7-5. So with that considered, it's still a really close match that they took against another Division 1 team. So does that mean that FSU is going to follow the other Division 1 teams, or does that mean that they're going to actually be contending here? We're going to find out now that we're here in Operator Bans. This match starts right now.
And the first ban on the board will be Monty, gone. Ferris State's attacking ban, I should say. Akron Club is going to ban next on attack. So you get out of the equation. Ying, that makes sense for a close quarters map like Skyscraper.
In Montaigne Ying, you can take a lot of space into Geisha. That kind of feels like one of the more important entry points for a lot of the sites on Skyscraper. Fenrir will be the next one to join the ban list, despite the nerfs that have come to the operator, reducing the overall dread mines and activation codes that are available by 1. And the final ban, Ferris State's thinking about it. We're not sure. I'm going to predict an Azami, possibly a Valkyrie. Those are operators we see banned most frequently. And it's actually going to land on the Clash, which is not entirely unexpected. But I do find it surprising that Ferris State goes for the Monty ban and then also chooses to ban the operator that is best suited to bring themselves up against Monty or Blitz if we do happen to see in this opening round. First fight's going to be Karaoke Tea Room. So standard stuff to begin with here. I don't think a whole lot that's unexpected really from either side here yet. Aside from the Blackbeard on Doge, that's going to be swapped off, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, you never know at this point. But yeah, Blackbeard's not really that big of a pick in competitive R6, but maybe, depending on the player, could be of good use. But we'll have to see what happens there.
I don't know, my duo likes to play Blackbeard in like standard because he's just like, I don't know what to play. I'm just gonna mess around with Blackbeard here. Just that kind of operator.
I'm sure he's picked Amaru one of those times before. Hey, let's
I
see
will
if this
neither
Garda
confirm nor
Rush could
deny.
work.
10 seconds remaining.
Either way, about 6 seconds remaining until we get
seconds to
into round number 1 of the action here again. Akron starting an attack on their map pick Skyscraper. That was once again unintentional, so we will see this in real time, what this is going to do to this match.
Interesting that they've chosen 2 of the information operators here. I think my reading of this team comp so far, well, as Capelot actually swings onto the bathroom window, knows he's been droned out, so this player's getting pushed off. Oh, that's a great entry from Crimson's. Capelot has been found and removed from the match. That is a very quick start. Ferris
Comes
State
in with a great pick that time. Using that 417, it's a great use. I believe that thing outputs about 69 damage, something like that. So very high-powered DMR being showcased early by Akron. Tango droning out the LOS here. Leo's gonna be quick to shoot the drones, but the walls are collapsing. As the Stelma breaches go off.
Entire defense has been pulled apart. I'm not entirely sure. Whoa, Crimson's gets one more onto Julio, who was sitting over inside of the main office, but Doge combines for one more. Zone on the floor, out for the count. Only floor deploy, and it's VDOG remaining for Ferris State. Akron read into the fact that there was going to be somebody in the form of that Valkyrie sitting downstairs and taking no chances whatsoever. This could easily be a flawless round already. Only Florida boy left to face against 5 very healthy members of Akron.
Indeed. Akron setting the tone here. A flawless round. Crimson finishes off with a 3K. Wow.
Crimson's got that initial information on the Valk who was sitting downstairs in bedroom, and from there things just fell apart. The pacing that Akron was able to set was absolutely blistering. I mean, you get that initial kill, you know that there's no longer the Valk sitting downstairs threatening a C4 up into office, really. And once you've gotten that off the line, you know that from your drone work, the Ferris State has had this much more anchor-heavy lineup, really. They're going for the exact same lineup again, by the way. Ferris possibly seeing that there was a fluke in their plans and want to rectify those mistakes. But I think that Akron, their information game from that last round was absolutely stellar, because they knew that once they get the Valkyrie off the board, they have a Mira and a Maestro and the Warden as well, all sitting around site. Please just being the one-speed operators. So, hopefully trying to make adjustments to the way that they had played that, the way they had aggressed on that. Well, Capella might be the player to watch as well for this round. Not roaming downstairs this time. Possibly afraid of what that might bring.
He's roaming a little bit closer to site, so we'll see if that makes the difference for Ferris State here.
Little insurgents in the shrine.
Rappel up the shrine. Zone staring a hole right into the open window. Sees the drone, shoots the drone. That powerful vector. One of my favorite guns in this game. Can't get enough of that. Crimson still holding this peak from Shrine Balcony.
It's fascinating that Goyo has the vector with an ACOG on it still to this day.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. I mean, the vector with an ACOG, just in general, is just like, oh my god, like imagine telling somebody that, like, in the earlier stages of this game. SMG, I haven't had an ACOG and all. Hey, Julio gets 2 double kill for FSU. Exactly what they need to try and, you know, get some momentum on their side.
Whatever mistakes they had seen in that first round, they've rectified them now. Both Shoot and Tango are victim to the MP5K in Julio's hands. A much better start for Ferris, only half the round remaining as well. And I don't think that Akron this time around have really been able to enter the map. I mean, they've been kind of poking at things here and there. And with the Buck being able to open up the entry into office, there is like some potential for them to go in, but like Void is sitting outside of exhibition office, and the screen share has gone haywire for us for a second there.
Oh,
but
there
now
we're back.
We're back now. C4 will then add to Akron's miseries. Capelon the one to pull the trigger on that one. Void brought very low as well. A bit of a wide swing. Julio makes it 3 on the round, and a flawless in return for Ferris, which, when you look at the way that the first round played out, that's not exactly the result you would have expected from this one.
Yeah, Julio really stepped it up for Ferris State in that round. I mean, if he's not pulling off a 3K here, it would have been closer for Akron to possibly win a round 2, but yeah, just Julio's performance overall really set the tone for that. You can't discredit the Capilot C4 as well. I love me some
Defenders protect your bombs
C4s,
from
so
being defused by
nice to
attackers.
see that on the kill feed.
They love this Maestro Mira combo. A lot of information that you can pass
Bomb
around
located
between
by
the players. Of
attackers.
course, you need to protect them well with
Yes.
denying intel, so that's where the mute comes in. Denying nades going in, that's where the OMI comes in. So I think, like, when you consider that a lot of Ferris's composition here is potentially anchored around, well, their anchor operators, a lot of it starts to make sense. It starts to kind of push itself together. And with Skyscraper being the map that it is, you do have the luxury of being able to sit on, or at least darn close enough to sight, just because of all of the angles that you can hold as a defender. Julio posting up over by Dragon, even though the site's on Exhibition Office. Again, that slight extension this time, not trying to really overextend on the roam like they had in the first round. But again, Akron on their comp, bringing the Deimos and the Jackal this time, so foregoing the previous choice of the Lion in favor of possibly finding one specific player, because they know that they tend... It seems like they've read into the fact that Ferris plays this much more anchor-heavy style, so you try to find the one outlying roamer. But Ferris doesn't really seem to be setting up for that right now, at least not too terribly far off site. Reasonably far enough site. A little bit of a first entry look over towards Terrace. Nothing gained so far. I think in the first couple of rounds, the first kill had gone out around the minute-half mark. Actually, no, for Akron, the first one went out very quickly. Oh!
Ooh.
Speaking of very quickly, I have Doom zoned to his death. Tango's the first one to strike. You do not have the mute left, and that C4 has been obliterated from existence as well.
Yeah, great reaction that time from Tango. I mean, that C7E, it hits like a truck. I know from personal experience, so yeah, great shots from Tango to begin this round 3. It's a 5v4, roughly a minute and a half gone. See Capilot in lounge, kind of watching the outside perimeter here. Make sure nobody sneaks up behind him here. Now the Selma breaches are going to go out to take out that mirror window.
Unfortunately, there's no mute jammer to stop those Selma breaches either. I think a lot of the defense of the main wall for Office hinges on the fact that there is a mirror window there. But now with that gone, you have to pull way further back. As I say that, though, Doge gets his head removed. Capilot, this MP5K is still paying in dividends for Ferris. Oh, a long angle held by Tango, but it's not. Both players trading a ton of damage.
Wow.
Julia tries to follow up on it, and Tango is just built different. However, he's also built out of dust, as that's what Florida Boy turns him into with the Alda. Wide angle as well. Crimson's does not have a good shot through this dragon statue. Doesn't know exactly where to go on the angle there, and Crimson's on an ill-advised peak. Only 25 seconds remaining in the round. Void is the next one to put himself onto the score line there. 15 seconds
2v2
left.
situation here. Oh, Florida Boy gets one, and Capilot finishes it off. Ferris State gonna win round 3. Boy, a nasty angle that time from Capilot.
Akron, even though they get the first pick in that round, Ferris State hold their ground pretty solidly inside of Dragon. I mean, of course, there was the swing by, I believe it was Julio who was playing the Valkyrie last round. There's a swing onto Dragon from that Tango was just easily able to handle. And the fact that the Mira had been brought down to 6 HP and Tango down to 14 HP was just a little comical, like both of them kind of taking pot shots at each other at that point. But realistically, Ferris State wins that by not panicking, which a lot of teams in that scenario would be inclined to do. You're like, oh no, I'm 5-4. There's a Jackal that I have to worry about. Tango is absolutely insane with these shots. And realistically, Capilot just holds his ground. He gets the 8 Selmas, I believe, shot off of the Mira too. we had talked about there being want of a mute jammer, but you had a player playing back inside of Exhibition, and that
5 seconds.
gave them the ability to continue holding that spot inside the lounge. So Ferris really doing well to hold the ground. They've done their research on what they need to do for these rounds and get a well-deserved round number 2 into their pocket. Well, second round win into their pocket, excuse me.
Yeah. All good. So we see Ferris State elects to go with Solus and then Aruni in the comp as well as a Legion. So try to slow down Akron Club a little bit.
Vertical take as well as you need to do for the sign as it is. Oh my lordy Lou. That's a good night in chat. You type you hit GN. I mean that's just what
I thought he let go of the ADS a little bit too early there, but no, Crimson a clean headshot on the Florida boy. And we've seen this movie before. We've just seen this movie, 5v4, so we'll see what happens this time.
A much earlier pick this time around, though, I might note. I think that last round had been a little bit deeper into the round, so even though Akron was able to get their pick, they were not able to maintain it after Ferris held their ground and really dug their heels in. As I say that, Capilot, who has been lighting up the scoreboard, lights up Tango. Crimson's is the next one to fall, despite getting that opening pick for his team off of an impressive shot with that C8 from Buck. He's not able to continue the round for his team. A little misthrow on the flashbang will not be a friend for Void here.
That happens once in a while. It's a good flash that time. Capilot avoids it though. Right on that kitchen balcony, finds one. The Capilot taken out of the equation, so the Solus is now off the board. The vertical from Doge with the Ram. Julio trying to peek that window, not able to do it. V-Dog gets Doge. Narrowing it down to a 3v2 for FSU. About 46 seconds counting remaining. Void, it's another pick, this time onto V-Dog, limiting it to a 2v2.
Not a lot of time for Akron to execute on, but they do have two of the best flank watch operators in the game in the form of the Nomad and the Gridlock if they want to try and execute on something here. That being said, this Legion is setting up a spider web of goo mines. It'll be very tough to make anything work off of this drop in here. As soon as they drop in, Legion can swing from delivery door, but he's stuck inside of the Gridlock charms. He'll be slowed on the drop here.
Oh, the air jab. Wow, it's a 1v1. Void planting the diffuser here. So trying to look for him. Currently in barbecue. He's gonna have to rotate over to kitchen. As an angle from the wall, he's gonna throw a C4. Unfortunately, not gonna go through the whole made. I'm trying to play through Sushi Bar. Gets the pick. Oh my goodness. Zone with the SMG-11 shooting the remaining Gridlock traps out of his way. He's got plenty of time to defuse the diffuser, and that will be a round 4 win for FSU. Masterfully done.
Incredible retake there. I was worried about the drop that they had from the hatch going in from Geisha into kitchen there, because obviously from that angle, if you're dropping the hatch, you have the players sitting inside of delivery room and they swing wide on you. Of course you're not going to be able to get the pick, but when you're playing the operator Gridlock and you're able to lock down that rotate somewhat along with the Nomad air jab, you get things a lot closer actually. At the end of the day, it really was just a matter of the fact that you can't really hide behind that bar inside of kitchen or inside of restaurant when the mute's swinging you like that. Of course, you wouldn't really be able to know that from specific instances. It's just the way that the angle works, and it's not a very common angle that you really try to hide behind. Something probably for Void to remember in the future. He can see me.
There's all sorts of technicalities with hiding behind certain things in this game. Like you said, it might be a learning experience for Void in the future on the Skyscraper, but nonetheless, round 5 about to begin here. Zone looking to go with Mira. as opposed to Nuke that we saw in the previous round.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Again,
Quite
going
sure
with
the Valkyrie have returned.
a lot of really heavy intel for Ferris, and I think it's been contributing greatly to their round wins on defense. They're able to monitor every single move of the attack. But interestingly enough, I think the Valkyrie has been the one operator that's swapped out of this lineup slightly. Otherwise, they've been very comfortable on this Maestro, Mira, Warden, Wamai combo the full way through. With the Valkyrie swapping up for a mute, maybe, but beyond that, you're seeing a pretty identical lineup really for Ferris State, and I think that's just because they're now settling into the feel of the map, and that's probably where Akron Club's regret of picking Skyscraper comes in. Probably not a map that they're quite as familiar with. And Ferris State is using that to give themselves a round advantage and also a player advantage. Doge, the first one to fall. No more Deimos. You're not going to have any of those Deathmark trackers hunting down the remaining defenders. Even with the Buck trying to rain hell from below, load the reverse rain, you know, gravity's a little topsy-turvy in Skyscraper. Reloaded! They know the player's sitting inside a lounge. It's Julio sitting in this favored position. But the mirror's been moved on to the center wall instead of the wall furthest in the corner. That pre-fire actually almost claims a kill. I think it might have been hitting a solid wall. But that all being said, only a minute and a half remaining now, and Ferris State, being 3 rounds up, also have themselves a player up. Akron Club a little bit against the ropes here.
And you see Ferris State just holding their ground. Not holding their ground that time as Void gets Julio. Bought Capalot. Gets the refrag. Gets 2. It's a quick 2. With that MPX in hand for V2 in favor of FSU. Akron Club has been on their heels these last few rounds. Can they put something together here? Crimson gets Florida Boy, but unfortunately Zone and Capalot finish it off. Ferris State taking their 4th straight unanswered round win.
It's very impressive so far from Ferris State. Capalot is making so much use out of this intel, being able to make these quick rotates. I mean, 8-2. We've been saying his name a lot. 8-2. Absolutely one of the biggest difference makers for Ferris State so far. But Julio sitting inside of lounge on that mirror window has been something that Akron has had a measure of difficulty going up against. It's been an operator that's also worked out really well for Ferris. So seeing a Kaid being brought this round, but it makes sense for the site, right? Like, you're on exhibition office and you want to defend the main wall, and you know that there hasn't been as many Thatchers, although we're seeing it swapped off of the gridlock now because they're understanding from their drone work what the setup is going to be looking like. But even if Ferris State lose this next round, this last round and a half, they'll still be 4-2 going into the attacking half. And I think that when we looked at stats from when they played on Consulate, they started Consulate last week on attack as well and closed that game out 7-4. So if Ferris State can repeat their fortunes from last week on Consulate, I think they'll be able to do a very similar thing here on Skyscraper, considering what a great start that they've had to this game and what a great run around so far too.
See some early drone work coming in from Akron here. Julio checking out the Valkyrie cameras. Oh, a little bit of a spawn peek from Capalot. It's about roughly, I would say almost half of his HP knocked off that time. A bit of a risky maneuver here. At some points, yes, you're up a certain, round advantage, but you don't want to get too cocky with the spawn. Could be your detriment, but
IQ being brought this round also makes me think that Akron has had enough of the Valkyrie cams. So, reading into the patterns and denying that operator. You'll also be able to see the Kaid claws from below. You'll be able to see the Wamai discs. So I think that the IQ works, even though IQ's gadget isn't always the most impactful, and it will have no more impact as Crimson dies. still be able to get a good idea of where things are being set up. However, without that intel being available now, Akron will again find themselves on the back foot as 2 of their players fall. A little bit of damage being shot out. Rude sword away from the Maestro. Doge does try to even the man count out. A little bit. Shoot will live up to his name, although in a slightly different spelling. Actually gets some shots back. Ferris State looked like they had a great advantage here with the 5v3. But a little flurry of kills puts Akron back on even footing now.
Yep, 3v3, less than a minute remaining. Void gonna look to peek from all off of office balcony. Breached open. Florida Boy still holding that angle in Dragon. Loves that angle. We've seen him do great things earlier on. No, and we see him do even more great stuff. A double kill from him. Now it's down to Doge and a 1v3, 30 seconds remaining. Has to collect Fuser here. It's gonna be outside. Not a really favorable position for him. On those house stairs. Comes into contact with one member. Oh, and Florida Boy finishing it off with a 3K.
I feel like for FSU as well, and they went 5-1. They're doing absolutely fantastic on that opening half. They'll be happy going into this attacking half because it really means that they only need to win 2 rounds to take the game first map for themselves, which could happen very quickly here, depending on how Akron holds things together. But I like how it seems like every member so far for Ferris has had a moment where they have a little bit of a pop-off round. We had Julio have a 3K, and we've had Capilot have a couple of multiple 2 or 3Ks throughout the game. We then have Florida Boy pop off in that last round. And I think that really does go to show the diversity of this roster and just how well they've been able to play as a cohesive unit. And that does make me hopeful for them going into the attacking half. Now, for Akron, though, this will be their time to bring a lot of rounds back, because if they do a flawless defense, Ferris State nearly managed it themselves, aside from 1 round, which was that opening round. That was flawless in Akron's favor. But if they can manage a flawless defense, Akron could also win this themselves. So really, it's anyone's game right now. But with Ferris State being 1 point away from overtime here, you can understand why I am hyping them up to be more of the favorites as we start the attacking half for Ferris.
Yeah, indeed, like you said, the Sojourner. It's just spreading of the wealth for this FSU team. I mean, you know, Capilot, Zone, Florida Boy, B-Dog,
Deploying Claymore.
Julio. We've seen them individually, you know, attest to their strengths as a team, and that's very important as you want to stack on these rounds. And they're about 2 rounds away from potentially winning this, but we don't want to count out Akron Club as well.
I like seeing the mirrors being brought out as well by Akron. I think they equally understand that this operator is irremovable from the defenses that you can set up on Skyscraper. They spot the first window here through the halfway broken wall, and a mute jammer too, so that'll take some extra utility to get cleared out. Bring the Thatcher over for it. You also have V-Dog from underneath on the buck, but the first bit of damage goes on to Zone. Possibly over by the top of those house stairs. The Zone won't be pushing up any further, fearing for their life. 5v5 still, though. A bit of a slower round. Ferris State on this attack has not struck quite as immediately as Akron has. Capilot also on that Deimos spots out the castle who's sitting inside a drum. Now the Death Mark tracker is over, but there's a play with shield in his way. A lot of work that Ferris State have to do in order to open up these defenses, and I don't think that they've quite had the opportunity to do so. Close peek by Julio onto the drum's door, does claim Crimson's, but not before Tango strikes first with a C4. Florida Boys sent sky high. 4v4 with a minute remaining.
That's V-Dog taking out Void. 4v3. See See Shoot still holding down Lounge quite well. See the Mute has been targeted by the Deimos tracker. He'll have to stay on his toes here. 35 seconds remaining in count for this round 7. Julio gets a double. Capilot gets one. Julio finishing it off with a 3K yet again. Ferris State 1 round away from taking this.
Ferris State already forcing overtime if Akron can tie things back up. Akron decides to call the timeout now, seeing this as a kind of do or die situation. And I think with this timeout, Akron is recognizing that when they're on maps that they're not quite as comfortable with, they can easily get outpaced by teams that are clearly more prepared for it. Ferris State, I mean, taking Akron Club down 6-1, we thought that Akron with their score record, I mean, they have conceded the same number of rounds in this opening match that they're playing in Midwest R6 that they did in their entire qualifiers, if you just want that to sink in. If Ferris State wins this next round if Ferris State wins this game just in general, which they are 1 round away from doing, they will have scored more rounds against Akron than 6 other teams before them combined in the qualifiers. And I do think it does come down to a law of the map, and I think that's what Akron is talking about, is saying that, hey, we need to try and adjust the strats a little bit for Skyscraper, see what we're working with, see what we can adjust to make sure that we're not playing in the same positions that Ferris State are so clearly used to playing against and for.
You can stop worrying about grenades now.
Just bring in the mirror,
that's exactly what we're seeing here. And, you know, like you said, just throwing out those numbers of they've allowed 6 round wins to come from FSU. That's, you know, that ties what Akron Club did in the qualifiers in total. So just those numbers alone tell you that Akron Club is not having their way on Skyscraper. And again, they didn't mean to pick that, but going forward, if Skyscraper does end up in one of their matches, they need to find ways to adapt, strategize better for the future. But this match is not done just yet. Stranger things have happened, so we shall see what happens in this match round.
Just manifesting the 7 straight rounds from Akron Club. They're going to win at 8-6, you know, that's clearly the line that we're working with here. But it does start on defense. It does start from 1. And that is kind of the thing that we're up against here. Is Ferris State being only perpetually 1 round away from winning the game is something that will hang heavy over Akron's head here. Have to play things safe, have to play it cautious. Speaking of cautious, though, Capilot getting himself into danger already, dropped down to about 50 HP. Not entirely sure where from, but at the end of the day, that is a little bit of stats working in the favor of Akron, as it means that Deimos now, when he's spotted off of these death marks, because it reveals your location, not regularly, but in steady intervals to the defender that you've scanned, Capilot will not be able to follow up on that quite as well. Oh, and it's fixed. We can see KDs now. I don't know why I didn't notice that before, but there was a thing that was happening during last patch before the bug fixes in Rainbow Six where you couldn't see KDs. Now we can actually see them.
That's awesome.
Maybe I'm paying attention. Great.
No, they weren't on here before, so you're not going crazy.
Thank goodness. Getting Gaslight Hour 6. That's what the name of the league is, apparently. No.
Gaslight R6, yep. Yeah. For sure. Coming down to about a minute remaining. See B-Dog on the below vert with Buck. Trying to throw a flash in there. One of the Akron. Julio gets 1. Void with a pick onto Capilot. 4v4. See V-Dog trying to take out Void. Void gets a 2K, but Julio reading the rotate out of bedroom perfectly there. Double kill, triple kill. Julio is just going off, making a statement for himself and the team here. It's down to Shoot and Crimson for Akron Club. See what they can do here with 30 seconds. Crimson going up restaurant stairs into hallway into T room.
Fifteen seconds remaining though for Ferris. Julio, I did see that kind of wobble of death. However, Florida boy will be striking. Crimson's the last. Crimson, one of the last bastions, shoot in a 1v2 situation. Has to throw out a C4 with the time remaining. It actually collects both players to deny the plant at the absolute death of the round. FSU called for a pause. Julio had disconnected, and that Julio was on track to get an ace that round. I had a feeling in my heart, and then I see that he's ADS'd and kind of doing this like wobble walk of death, and I knew that was a DC, and that, I mean, a round's a round. You can't call a pause just because your player disconnects with only 30 seconds remaining. That's just unfortunate timing. Akron get a second round back, and maybe even with this technical pause, of course, players wouldn't be able to talk to each other during this time, or to their coach during this time, but they'd be able to at least think over individually some ideas and some strats that they might have going into the rest of the defensive half. So this technical pause could help them reset their mental a little bit. That first round could be the first of many as well for Akron to bring things back around here.
Yeah, an absolutely beautiful C4 from Shoot. I mean, that just has the morale high. I can't imagine it doesn't have it high, but I mean, it was a C4, man.
I think with those 2 kills as well, that puts Shoot at 3 and 6. So not a great showing from the player in these opening 8 rounds that we've seen, but with those 2 kills, you can absolutely say that Shoot has impact frags, because that was the impact frag of all time. To get C4 onto the player that's planting and the player who's covering the plant, I mean, you can't make a clutch better than that for a player at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's just impressive. You had a doorway in the way too, and it's just, you know, the C4 connects. I mean, that radius sometimes is, you know, unexplainable. I mean, you know,
it
could go in front of a doorway. It could get the guy behind it. I mean, there's just a lot of different things you can see, and that's why we love C4 in the game. It's kind of broken, but in Ubisoft's terms, it's balanced. So there's that.
I find it really heartwarming that Julio says sorry about that in all chat for his own team, for his own PC crashing. Like he's apologizing to Akron. Akron's happy about it. They're not upset about that at all.
Yeah, they're
in control, right?
Yeah, they're gloating about that from here all the way to Kenosha. I mean, that C4 was just the icing on the cake to get some momentum kickstarted for Akron Club Gold. I mean, they've been pretty much shut out from the beginning. I mean, they had the round 1 win on attack, and then ever since they were quiet. You know, they got mute jammed, and now they got their second round win, and they have a little bit of momentum on their side.
However, that momentum is paper thin. I mean, Ferris, again, being on match point, it's still like Akron still has to win the next 4 in a row. It's doable on defense, because it is Skyscraper. I will say that statistically, if I remember reading correctly, that every map aside from Border and I think Consulate, no, it's not Consulate. Well, Consulate's just like picked so low that there's really no stats for it in general. I think like Border is one of the only maps right now that is attacker favored, with Bank being about 50-50. Otherwise, every other map in Rainbow Six is defensive side. Point being that Skyscraper just loans itself to being a defender-sided map, and that causes, you know, it gives you hope for Akron at the end of the day, right? It causes you to believe that Akron could potentially pull some rounds back. But like I've mentioned many times already, like Arizona State being on match point, that is not a scenario you want to find yourself in, especially when they've already won 1 attack. They just need to do 1 more. So how well is Akron going to hold out here? That's the question.
We shall see. Doge finds one on the stairs. That's going to be Caplot. Interesting Azami strat there. VIP clearance.
And Caplot looked like he wasn't even expecting that. Looked like he was looking over to his left into exhibition. Do you even expect that the Azami's going to be sitting behind those keeper barriers on VIP? The momentum has started. Void bringing Akron into an advantageous position, a 5v3. As Julio, who has been the star of this match for Ferris State in terms of KDA,
Attackers recovered
has
the
also
bomb
met
diffuser.
their match. Tengo sends Florida Boy packing. As the SMG-11 rings out true. Only 2 players remaining for Ferris State. Only 30 seconds left. I've got to say, this is looking like an Akron round win.
B-Dog maybe looking to go up those restaurant stairs. Kind of second guessing it. Go through back hallway. Zone still on the shrine balcony. It's about 15 seconds
15
remaining.
seconds
All
left.
Akron Club needs to do is just hold it out here.
10 seconds to go.
Who's gonna peek the hallway? See anybody initially?
5 seconds left.
Sees Crims. B-Dog gets Crims.
Attackers
4v1. Doge finishing it off for Akron Club Gold. And there, as we said it, the momentum is shifting.
Bit of a slower pace from Ferris as well on the attack. Akron really turning that anchoring playstyle that Ferris had on their defense and using it as well to their own advantages here. And that brings things back for them. I mean, really, when we saw at the end of the round there, when Ferris State was making their final attack into the bomb side of T and Karaoke, the last 2 players were making their moves at 35 seconds. It's not like they really had a lot of choice to work with because they were already cut down by 3 players overall. And so it was a last move of desperation, but you would expect that they would have been in those positions at the top of the black stairs to make the insurgents into the bomb site by that point in time. And instead they're like, 10 seconds left. Okay, well, we got to go pick a bomb site. They pick the door of T room and just get fried anyway. So, if Akron Club can keep up the aggression in the way that they did last round to claim a lot of those players to knock Ferris State back on their bums, put them off balance a little bit more, then I think that's something that Akron can use to their advantage. But
Yeah, I like the addition of Malusi for Akron Club. Should be a really strong defending operator for them. But it looks like Ferris State is going to have a blitz, so that will slow him down, at least momentarily, depending on if he hits the Malusi's.
interestingly enough, with this being the 4th round of their defense, they decide to not go with the second upstairs bomb site again. Because after the quarter of the half resets, you can go to any of the previous bomb sites you'd been on. And instead they choose to go into barbecue and kitchen. So I guess that could just show like, oh no, the grenade goes missing. That's unfortunate.
Oh no.
But it could just go to show that Skyscraper has 3 good sites. However, Crimson has no good HP remaining. Castle player knocked flat and zoned with the rest of the team behind them. Now start their push to get this roam clear out of the way. A lot of players upstairs for Akron. 1 less player for FSU though. V-Dog.
A huge pick
Takes
for
people at the
Akron Club.
toes.
Huge pick, getting the blitz out of the equation. Now all even, 4v4. Staring down T room into Karaoke, but he's gonna get picked by Caplot. It's 4v3.
Doge has to play so carefully in the back of this T-room wall. Does actually get the player who was sitting behind there, but Julio catches the refrag. Doge is not able to continue the round from inside a T. Thank goodness, for Ferris State's sake at least. With a minute left in the round now, cut down to a 2v3 scenario. FSU have to find their way into sight through Vault Cams, Mute Jammers, Maestro gadgets, Evil Eyes, and the castle barricades. There's one that's actually holding down the kitchen entry, or the restaurant entry. Oh no!
Oh,
That's
no!
There was some miscommunication there. I don't know what it was, but it was very funny looking. Florida Boy sends out the Selma of death, and it causes Julio to fall. There's that castle barricade I was talking about, by the way, in the restaurant. That makes it so that Florida Boy won't be able to cross to the back of the site. Knows that there's one player over by delivery. Great read on Atenga. I think it might have just been audio at the end of the day, because one armor operators are quite loud.
Have to sprint on in there, gets one. Is he gonna get the plant off though? That's gonna be the question. Planting? No, he's not. Void seals the deal for the Zips.
It was a near thing though. If Void had been holding the roam off anywhere else, like let's say that Void has decided, I'm gonna sit inside of Geisha until the end of time, like my ranked teammates like to do, and wasn't playing Maestro, an operator that can very easily deny plant remotely as well, that could have gone into Ferris State's advantage because of an almost incredible hero player from Florida Boy at the end of the day. However, hero plays weren't just quite enough, and Akron, again, pulling another round back. They've won 3 in a row on this defense, bring things 6-4. Could be the comeback that they're looking for. All remains to be seen in the next few rounds. Site's been taken back into exhibition office, by the way. Still avoiding tea room, which is fine. I don't know why I need to point that out even, but that is something that they have been avoiding overall. With this open floor plan, I find this really interesting because I think that the idea behind opening the main office wall while having a Mira sitting on the lounge is that if you're going to be playing inside of exhibition office, you basically expect there to always be a Thatcher or even more rare, a Cali to get any sort of anti-hard breach off the wall anyway, because that's just what's expected of the players. So why waste your time trying to defend a wall that's going to get opened when you can defend it with Mira instead and have a much more threatening defense that way? So that's what I think is a lot of the mentality behind the way that both these teams have been playing this defense, and could work out well for Akron. Capelot as well, contributing to Akron's success as he falls to the Ump 45 Crimsons, who have been sitting upstairs. I think that was an angle that they had on the jump into bathroom, not fully read by the drone. Entry into delivery by zone, but they don't quite seem to know that Void's here. Just biding his time. A little crocodile in the water.
Yep. Just gotta blend in with everything around him here. Turn into a chameleon, if you will. Akron does have the man advantage, at least for... Gotta say, it's neat that you can speed boost with the drones. It's a nice QOL touch. Ubisoft has done in this game. Track stingers are gonna come out. Grims is gonna be quick to shoot though.
I was going to say, if Void could actually walk around those without getting his toes touched, that would have been incredible.
That would have been incredible indeed. Zone tossing a few frags up on the vert. Oh, Void gets one. He gets zone. 5v3 sneaking his way from bedroom. Less than a minute remaining. Let's see what Ferris State can do here. Poor boy playing that office balcony wall. He's got a C4 primed and ready. That looks any damage. No, it will not. Flashbang that nearly hit shoot, but he avoids that. Ooh, wow, that's a beautiful pick with the shotgun from Tango. 5v2, make that a 4v2, 3v2. They could gel something together here. And they won't. Akron Club, another strong defending run. I believe that's 4 straight. Nice closing pick.
Almost an almost reverse scenario of what we saw in the first half. Akron wins their attacking round. Ferris wins 5 straight defenses in a row. Now this time we've seen Ferris win their first attacking round. Akron has now won 4 straight defenses in a row. Could easily tack on a 5th here, considering how they've been playing in these rounds. Ferris State punching at shadows, really. A little bit of shadow boxing. And Akron, they are everywhere, it seems. Void as well on the push from delivery into laundry. Managing to sneak by what I would only describe as the RNG of the track stingers, because you deploy that gadget and that thing just starts spitting track stingers just about anywhere it wants to, but it never seems to quite put them where they're needed. And Void comes up huge, like bottom house stairs, gets a pick, gets the first pick over inside of delivery / kitchen side, and that is what starts the snowball for Akron, the aggression that they need to bring every one of these rounds. I think it's been kind of the key, is that Ferris, in some of these attacks, has seemed a little bit hesitant, and Akron has been preying on that hesitation the whole way through. Now they brought the site over to T-Room. Sorry, go right.
Oh, okay. I was just say, yeah, it's all about just finding your identity here. I mean, you know, on the attack, we've seen that rounds are not easy to win. And if you can find a good identity on the defensive side, multiple rounds in a row, we've seen Akron Club now on a 4-round streak. We saw Ferris State do great things on their defensive half. So it's just all about finding identity and just, you know, sticking to your strengths and adjusting accordingly. And that's easier said than done, though, because in some instances you can't easily, per se.
You know what I think as well, on the 10th round, Akron decided to go to barbecue and kitchen instead of T-Room. And I think that's because they were waiting for this round specifically to bring T-Room and karaoke. Because if they had played that earlier, now they would have been on the tertiary bomb site. But since they won the tertiary, they can win one of the primaries. Potentially get us to overtime, but that remains to be seen. Minute 15 down, and not a single player has fallen. Julio has taken a little bit of damage. That's kind of about it in terms of player counts, but I expect something will be going off here real soon. V-Dog is sitting on these black stairs, is ready to jump in the site, sees that there might be a player inside a T-room, and there's no rotate into karaoke, so he just kind of backs himself into the balcony up from by black stairs. An angle from Crimson's on side of T-room. But again, it's nothing. However, shoot. Florida Boy, who had been so key in a lot of these rounds and bringing things close for Ferris State, the near clutch that we had on the barbecue attack from him, he'll be the first victim of Akron Club's gun ability. Julio, scared of the player inside a drum. There is one sitting there. V-Dog with the blitz gets one onto Tango. Zone claims Shoot, who had done the opening kill for Akron. It's a 4v3, but V-Dog is so...
He's got 2 HP. Looks like a plant's trying to develop in front of our eyes. Julio's not able to stick it just yet.
I'm reloading.
Doge finds V-Dog. Oh my goodness. Meanwhile, the plant going down from Julio. He's gonna get knocked. Doge finishing that off.
15 seconds remaining.
2v1. Caplot the last remaining member. It's a 1v1. Is Caplot gonna have the tools to clutch this up? We're gonna have to see. He's gonna have to go for... He's gonna have to plant it. Knows exactly where he is, and we are going to overtime.
Absolute cinema. Wow. I think really what a lot of that came down to for Ferris State was the fact that Akron held the player inside of the back of T-Room. They didn't have any way of flushing that player out. They couldn't even use the blitz because they were surrounded on all sides. They have the footholes in between the sites, so if the blitz turns his back incidentally to a player playing over by Karaoke or Geisha, then he gets shot from there. But he can't do that as well and try to force that player because they know that there's a player sitting in back of T-Room. And so with him sitting in the back little cubby of T-Room, you can't really push him, but you also... You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. That's what it really comes down to. And with it being a Warden as well, Blitz, you can't push a Warden because he'll just put on the smart glasses and fry you anyway. Being at 2 HP makes that push so dangerous against the likes of the SMG-12. And that's really where a lot of Akron's round came from. They were able to anchor around that Warden who was just holding on for dear life for a couple of square feet, really, inside of Tea Room. And they make it work. They tie things up 6-6 after being down 6-1. We're in overtime. And this is the comeback that we had alluded to in those earlier rounds. All starting from the fact that Julio disconnected in the one round that gave Akron their second round win.
I mean, yeah, if that disconnect doesn't happen, where would we be in time? An alternate timeline, maybe we're finished with this. In an alternate timeline, maybe we do see the overtime. So it's just, like you said, Sojourner, cinema is what we're seeing right now. 6-6 overtime on an unintentional map pick from Akron. What more could you ask for it?
If this is an unintentional map pick, I'm wondering what Chalet will look like as well, but we still have a couple of minutes left before we even get to resolve that here. A Glaz being brought out by FSU, I didn't even notice that. But that's going to be something that's going to try to hold down from the balcony. You get all those players lit up in yellow. You can see if you're actually looking at a foot peeking out from behind the desk. And with these walls being opened as well, now you have to worry about this mirror window. But the smoke going down blocks off the site for that mirror. There could potentially be a C4. It's already been meleeed. C4 actually does go out, but it whiffs. A great little turnaround from VDog. Another smoke grenade to go out into office. Has to be a wide peek from Shoot, who doesn't want to die to this, but Zone! Oh no, this might be the start of FSU's miseries. Tengo makes the second one, but it's Zone to get the TK onto Capella, and that is not at all what you want to start things off with here. 5v1 situation. Zone, who had slain his own teammate in front of him trying to kill the mirror who was sitting inside of Lounge, might actually see Ferris State lose a 6th round in a row. One player on the desk inside of Exhibition here. And Zone melees the wall in frustration, knowing that this is absolutely not their round to win. My goodness, what a situation you found yourself in.
What a plot pivot this is for sure. I mean, the TK does not help anything at all, and it's just a lesson of, you know, trigger discipline. But in some moments like that where, you know, it gets tense, you know, you see the Mira peeking from the mirror window, looking to pick her off, and then sometimes the team isn't really coordinated at times. You know, we saw Florida Boy go in for a plant, and I'm sure, you know, VDog was expecting to, you know, hold down the perimeter, but, you know, Zone just was not on the same page with the team, and ultimately it's going to cost him this round. And if you're Ferris... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was saying, take a bit of what I was...
5 seconds left.
Consider what I was told is considered a French time. They're definitely going to want to change something up on their neck. Round, which is going to be their defensive overtime round. And I think that what they might change, I mean, Ferris State, their defense was stellar. You know, they went 5-1 on defense. That's fine. But if Akron can read into what Ferris was doing on defense earlier, we could be seeing a very different tune, and we could be seeing that 8-6 score that I jokingly caster cursed Ferris State into, I believe, at this point.
Caster curse always comes to
locate and
bite.
defuse as many bombs as they can.
But we'll see what happens as Ferris State is finally going to be able to get on the defensive side, which, to your point, they were 5-1. So they're going back to, I think it's one of their original strats that we saw on defense with the Wamai, the View, the Maestro, the Mira, and the Valkyrie. So they'll have a lot of utility. They'll have the operators to obviously anti-gadget.
10 seconds.
Get rid of those flashes, those smokes, those grenades that could
5 seconds left.
otherwise
Attackers are heading out to the
block out the the viewing from like the Maestro cameras or the Valkyrie, stuff like that. Just basic fundamental things that would do.
Interestingly enough, the main difference that I'm seeing here for FSU is no Warden. And Tango, on the other hand, has brought the Blitz. This could be free real estate for Akron Club if they can manage to get their opening pick with the Blitz, depending on how Ferris State play the roam here. Not playing a very heavy roam from the looks of it either. Mute Jammer does collect one of the drones that was going into Terrace, so Akron's not going to be able to get any more information over on that side. However, that still doesn't mean that Akron won't be able to win things out here, because now with overtime match point, they've suddenly turned things around. However, they will not be turning things around in terms of the man count to start, as Capalot seems to have regained his footing. And Shoot will be the first one to fall. That's your Buck, who is now off the map. A shield detected over by T-Room. Julio holding this long angle. C4 thrown out from the Mute. It doesn't combine for any HP damage whatsoever. But regardless, we're still at a 4v5. Ferris State sitting a little more comfortably now that they're on the defense again.
Julio holding an angle in the drums, trying to catch Blitz from the side here. Oh my goodness, what a headshot onto Crimson. Julio is going to be knocked, though. Blitz is taken out. It's a 3v2 in favor of Ferris State. Haven't said that in a while. See if they can hold this down. It's Doge and Void left for the Zips. Less than a minute remaining.
I will watch over us. We are protected.
Doge and
Advancing
Void.
his way. Drums.
Frag out.
Throws a frag. That's nothing. Void with frag on the zone. Doge. 2v2. Caplot V-Dog versus Doge and Void.
Not you to be saved by me, eh?
Void getting the res on the Doge. A C4 goes out. That's not going to do anything for V-Dog, unfortunately. Oh no! TK and Caplot is going to win the round for Ferris State. My lord, we were talking about the Ferris State TK. That one did not look good for Akron at all.
I think the difference between Akron's TK and I mean, both players have to even, both teams have to even out in terms of TKs. They can't one up each other. They have to be even on that count, of course. But right. I think the difference between Ferris's TK and Akron's TK is that Ferris's TK came in at the height of the start of their execute. Whereas at the end, they're like, Akron shooting their own players, like, well, we kind of expected that to happen. You know, that's gonna that's gonna be something that it's not like adding on to more miseries. It's already miserable enough at the end of that round, being in a 4v2. It actually did get cut down to a 2v2, but with not that much time remaining, Akron just didn't really have the space to execute. But as a famous caster likes to always say, looks like we're going all the way. Can't do the accent quite as well. That's not my thing exactly. But we are. Maximum overtime on Skyscraper. Both of these teams very heavily favoring the defensive halves. Akron coming back from an absolutely, what looked like an absolutely unwinnable position at 6-1. Now we're here at 7-7. And with them being on overtime defense, statistically speaking from this match, Akron does look favored, but Ferris might have one more trick up their sleeve. V-Dog again on the glass here. And this site will be T-Room Karaoke. One of the drones goes missing, but that's okay. It's a great drone spot, actually. It's hard to shoot. If you ever like had that drone on there, but that is a very annoying drone to try and clear. It gives them a lot of information. Similar, no mirror being brought here, by the way. So not extending that roam out towards office side or exhibition. Instead, opting in for the Azami. There's another operator that I suspected would have been banned, but Clash took their place instead. Or Fenrir, depending on which side you want to look at here. Either way, a couple of slight changes that for both of these teams could be making all the difference, as no matter what happens, we will be crowning a winner of this first map in less than 2 minutes.
And it's pretty much any ball game here. I mean, we've seen great flashes from Akron and Ferris State, so what better way to end off this map one? Oh my goodness, a C4 by Tango.
Well,
takes out Zone and Tango immediately using that SMG-11 to his advantage, gets another pick. Still being swarmed out by the Grim Bees.
Loaded mag!
Successfully deployed.
Shakes
I
him
don't even know
off
if that
though.
geisha wall's been opened. Like, with the Thatcher being gone now, how do you get geisha wall open to get that point of attack off? I feel like Ferris State has been severely blunted by losing that specific operator in the hands of Julio.
And it's never great to lose a Thatcher early in a round, especially when you know the opposition has either a Cade, a Bandit, Tuber, some type of wall denial operator. It's definitely going to put you at a disadvantage here, and with 43 seconds and counting remaining for Ferris State, their backs are virtually against the wall, even more here. Capalot gets Doge, cuts it down to a 4-3. Looks like Florida Boy maybe trying to go for a plant here. It's taking a little bit of a longer time to put it down, but Akron Club is going to win this game on Skyscraper.
Wow. I mean, we saw
Insane.
15 rounds of Siege played there. That went to maximum overtime. And of those 15 rounds, 13 of them were won by the defense. Akron proving that they can hold strong and resilient despite being staring the match point in the face for the majority of the game. I mean, 6-1 is the start that you're off at. Not only you're like down 5-1, you're like, okay, well, it's the defensive half, so you're expecting defense to win. But now you get one attack from Ferris, and we think, all right, that's going to be the end of the match. And it isn't. Akron pulls it back inch by inch and then pushes it over all the way in maximum overtime. What an absolutely stellar match from both of these teams.
Yeah, and for a map one with two teams that we knew previously that were, you know, great teams, you expect it to go the distance. And I'm very happy that it went all 15 in map one. This is only map one, so I can only imagine we're going to see when we get to Chalet. And maybe even later if the decider is even in the equation.
Yeah. But before we do get to that, we'll take a slight break here to make sure that we get all the teams set up, ready. So grab a little bit of water, don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back.
Pick from IUPUI, the flash comes out, trying to push out connector. I'm sorry. And now it's looking like a 1v right there, waiting for the drop. It go down. We'll see one. Push when they got him pushed back.
Gets another one! Gets another one!
Oh, they're gonna.
Beats.
Yeah,
But I feel weird because like in an ace, it's so fast. This game is so fast to die.
You are going to have 60 seconds to name from memory as many R6 operators as you possibly can. Do not repeat any, as they will not count in your final score. You are going to have 60 seconds on the clock, and best of luck.
Ash, Thermite, Pulse, Castle, Mute, Thatcher, Smoke, Sledge, Twitch, Montaigne, Rook, let's go, Twitch. I already named Twitch. Let's see, IQ, Blitz, Bandit, Jaeger, Blackbeard,
30
Valkyrie,
seconds.
Kavera, Capitao, Mira, Jackal, Mozzie, Warden, Solus, Azami, Ram,
10
Brava,
seconds.
Ace.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Not fast.
You're good. Yeah, it's a lot tougher than people think, huh?
Yeah.
You got
Yeah,
all these operators
very
in the
much.
game, and it's tough to name them off in memory. Yeah. But I feel weird because like in an ace, it's so fast. This game is so fast to die.
Welcome back,
Already-
ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I thought that you were going to do it, and then you win, and then I win. Okay, you go right ahead, Turbin. You
Alrighty.
led us in for the first map. Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. So coming back from that map 1, in case you missed it, Akron Club Gold winning 8-7 over Ferris State University, what was a maximum overtime. Absolutely insane. So while we're waiting to get map 2 started, let's show you some stats from previous map.
And there you have it. Capilot and Julio for Ferris State were two of the players that had stood out, especially in the early rounds of their teams, both combining for a total of 29 kills, while the rest of their team was 22 kills in total. But that impact, of course, wouldn't have been felt against if it weren't for such staunch opposition on the side of Akron as well. I mean, Void and Tango combined for 29 themselves, and I mean, you can look at these scores. It's VDog and Shoot had identical score lines. This was probably as close as we could physically get in terms of a match of Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, we saw the Julio disconnect early on when it was, I believe, 6-1 Ferris State, and then Akron Club timeout after a round, and then it just went, it went up from there. I mean, players such as Shoot, Tango started to go off, and Void as well. So it was a collaborative effort from Akron Club to be able to pull back against Ferris State, and it's just a reminder that on Skyscraper, it's defender sided. I mean, 13 of these round wins came from the defending side, and that was the deciding factor for Akron Club to go ahead and win this match. But it really couldn't have came down to either team.
It really could have. I think that even though we saw 13 round wins on the defensive side, both of these teams at least did win an attacking round. And so when you get into that final round, it's 7-7, Akron Club is defending, you're still having in the back of your mind, like, well, they did win an attack. There is potential here for things to go through, but realistically, with Skyscraper having such a defender side track record, really, Akron was more set up to win it. And as the match went on, even though Akron didn't intentionally pick this map, as the match went on, you could see that they were getting more comfortable with the way that it played out. They were getting more comfortable with their setups and trying to not overextend quite as much, but still bringing a very rhythmic pace of aggression to the match. And that's how I think that they were able to, I'm lagging out on Discord. That's how they were able to get themselves over top of Ferris at the end of the day, was just once the gears started rolling for Akron, that was when they mounted their comeback and brought it back around from a 6-1 deficit. It's very impressive.
Yeah, indeed, very impressive. And as we're waiting for map 2 to be queued up, it will be on Chalet, FSU's pick. Akron will be starting on defense, while FSU will be starting on attack. So, I mean, Akron Club just coming off of a huge defensive win to win map 1 on Skyscraper. We'll have to see what plans they have in store for Chalet, as again, they're still on the side heading into this map.
So Chalet was, again, one of the maps that FSU had played last week, and I would like to speak to Akron's efficacy on the map, but obviously they had a bye last week, so we have no stats, we have no information on what they did, and I unfortunately also wasn't able to get any information on how they played in their qualifier matches. But Chalet has been a map that has been around the competitive pool for quite some time. And with it being such a staple nowadays, I think that this is one of the maps that a lot of teams can find comfortability on. That being said, FSU did find a lot of good footing on it last week in their outing, winning it 7-4. And I think that with a 7-4 victory on Chalet, a map that can tend to be a little more balanced in terms of that attacker versus defense differential, you're going to find that a 7-4 victory line, or a 7-4 line for their victory, is going to be contributing to the fact that they can also win attacks. And I think that Skyscraper might have been thrown a bit of a spanner in their plans, and that's why we might see a little bit of a closer match. We might even see an FSU win. We might go to layer at the end of the day, but really only time will tell, after we get this rehost going through. But it looks like we are ready when teams are ready. I don't know if teams are ready just yet, but just kind of waiting to see. There was a bit of a bug in the lobby, so we're just waiting for all the teams to cycle back in and wait for all of those things to be ironed out.
Yep. Sometimes there is bugs in these custom servers. It is definitely, a pain, but most of the time we get things worked out.
I think the one last thing that they're trying to figure out is whose attack on overtime. From what I'm seeing from Capella, he says that it's going to be, if we do end up going to overtime, it will be Akron going into attack on overtime. Attack start for FSU. And that does, defense overtime was something that really defined the end of the game for Skyscraper. Once Akron got that first leg up, that 7-6 for their 6th round in a row on defense on Skyscraper, that was what kind of sealed the deal. And I'm worried as well, if things do go to overtime, maybe we'll see something happen the same way, but in reverse, where Ferris State, they actually seal the deal on defense first, and then Akron is the one who falls behind. Another 8-7. Who really knows? Game was so darn close that I can't say anything definitively here, aside from saying that Ferris State might look more comfortable, but who the heck knows what Akron's been up to. However, Akron is up to banning Ying, a very good ban on Chalet, especially on a lot of those entry points like K9 Balk, or if you're going into snowmobiles or blue. Flores, though, not an operator we see taken off of the attacking lineup very often, but what are your thoughts on that? Why do we have that ban on attack here today?
I think Flores is one of those, versatile operators where he can destroy a bunch of utility. You think of the mute jammers, you think of, possible lesion mines. I mean, the sky's the limit for Flores as an operator. He's very strong, especially on the Chalet map. So, I mean, yeah, it is a surprise to see Flores banned, but, fundamentally speaking, I think it's an appropriate ban.
I think of the deployable shield that you can set up in Piano as well on the 2nd floor, if you do choose to defend that site. So that all being said, first round is going to be taken into master bedroom and office. I believe when I casted last week, it was Purdue Fort Wayne against NIU Red, and for the entire 11 rounds of Chalet that we played, not a single time this site was not picked a single time. We went kitchen, we went snowmobile, we went bar. Neither team touched 2nd floor. So this is going to be the first time that we're actually seeing this on stream in the West R6. Of course, for all the other games and divisions that are being played, I'm sure that we've seen some players play the 2nd floor site, but I'm very interested to see how this plays out on stream with this Division 1 team, with this game of the week for us here.
Yeah, especially when this is like the first time we're going to see Master. As you said, the tertiary bomb sites and snowmobile garage were taken throughout all those 11 rounds of Chalet. Got to watch a little bit of the stream. Yeah, it was kind of odd not seeing Master select. But our worries are now... I don't know what's the word.
Weld.
Yeah.
Weld was the one that I was going to go for.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, a great opening start though. Julio reading into Crimson's being at the top of Chimney. That deployable shield doing nothing in terms of protecting his head, and the Blitz is already pushing up into the top of the fireplace. Cameras out. Rimbies are detecting any other operators that might be sitting there. This is a lot of good ground that Ferris State have already gained by taking over Library. A 4v5 to start things off. Also losing the Warden, the one operator that you would want in a team, in a comp that is running a Blitz. And you've lost him already on the top of Chimney. Now, Caplot will be starting the attack here on the top of Library, throwing some bees into Piano. And this is going already so much faster than I think a lot of Ferris's attacks had gone on Skyscraper at times. Really trying to make a name for themselves here. Minute 30 left in the round.
Yeah, most of their attacks on Skyscraper were more methodically played out, but picking up the pace just a little bit here. Dog still just sitting around in the library hallway for an angle to emerge. Gonna be near fireplace stairs. That's gonna be a pick on to shoot. Be a 5v3 in favor of Ferris State. Less than a minute to go in this opening round of Chalet. Void down to 8 HP. Shooting out a camera. Gonna go up the trophy stairs. There's a camera though, there's a C4, but not gonna net anything for Tango, fortunately. Knows the blitz is on the staircase though. Gonna have to play this one out vigilantly. Here it goes from the top ropes, but he's gonna get caught right away from zone. It's a 5v2 situation. 4v2 Plant going down from Florida Boy, but Void is going to take him out. It's a 3v2. Plant is not going to go off. 2v2. Akron arrowing this down here. It's a 1v1. Two trades come out. It's Void versus Zone. Void looking to just hightail it, and smart play that time from Void. Ultimate decider there in that round one. I believe we lost Soji Kai. Went out or something. But yeah, a nice round one that time. Akron really just playing that one out patiently, methodically. I mean, you know, if you're Void in that situation, you're at 8 HP with Cade. You're in a 1v1 situation. I mean, you know, the best thing to do is to just run away and sort of just tuck tail, because at that point you don't need to rush the attacker if they don't have the diffuser. So that is why you saw Void running away from the opposition near the top of library. But we get set here for round number 2. We are going to be snowmobile garage site. See a Warden, we'll see a Castle, a Cade, a Jaeger, and a Fenrir. We'll see him for the first time this evening, as he was not bad. Valkyrie and Mira taking the slots for that. So we'll see what Tango decides to do with Fenrir's FNAT traps. He's a very, very strong operator. Obviously with the high ban rate across all forms of siege, competitive, ranked, you name it. Even after the nerfs, he's still a very strong operator. He's great at crowd control, and that's exactly what Akron Club is going to need to use here on the defense. In order to gain the upper hand on the side of Ferris State, you have electing to go with a Deimos, a Buck, an Ace, a Lion, and a Ram. We see some verticality, and we are seeing the vert being shown here early on. Using all of the boogies. Actually going to go from the second hatch all the way down. Some extra angles that hopefully net Ferris State with some free real estate. We'll see. Slumber Pill on that window. Capalot getting Void. Early advantage here. Using that revolver to break hatch. Into the basement. Less than 2 minutes remaining here. Lot roaming. Top of library pretty cleanly. Going into piano. Join his teammate Julio. From a top to bottom push here. F1 is going to be targeting Doge. Has a frag in hand, does not throw it. Practicing a little bit of trigger discipline. And Zone is going to find Crimson. It's a 5v3. Favor of Ferris State. Looking much stronger in the second round. See how this one finishes. Which holding down Wine Cellar at least for now. Might need to check. Blue tarp area. You might be expecting company to come down that blue hallway.
Okay, I'm back. What I missed?
So, about 35 seconds remaining in round 2. It's a 4v3 for Ferris State. Looking to reach into wine cellar.
Bomb located by attackers.
4v2 zone. Gets Tango. Akron Club on their heels, at least for now.
15 seconds
It's a
left.
triple kill from Caplot. Boy going forward to defuse.
10 seconds remaining. Attackers are
See what
activating
Shoot can do. He
diffuser.
gets one. It's a double. I believe he needs to ace to clutch this out here. He's got a C4 in hand. He uses it. He gets triple kill off of that. It's a 1v2. Has a little time to spare here, but not much. He's going to get tracked by the Deimos. Pressure is on Shoot.
Defenders have located
He's
the
going to
diffuser.
transfer here. He's going to try to go for the defuse. Not sure if he's going to stick it. He's going to try to stick it, but V-Dog is there for the cleanup. Ferris State winning their first round on Charlotte.
A little scary actually at the end there. Hi, I'm back. Am I coming through okay? I don't
Yes.
know what happened to my internet, but it hiccuped and everything just shut down internet-wise.
That's okay.
Anyway,
okay. I
not-
held it down.
What I saw, thank you for holding it down.
Yeah, no problem.
And doing a little solo casting there, just drop you off in the deep end right away.
It's
From what I caught
Attackers need
of
to
the
locate
end of
and
that last
defuse as many
round,
bombs
though,
as they
Ferris
can.
State in a 4v1 situation manages to get the plant down, and Akron actually nearly pulls it back, which is terrifying to think about. I mean, a 1v2 situation, any other operator that isn't Deimos, that isn't giving V-Dog that active call from the wine door on the bottom of West Main, that could very easily go in the favor of Akron. A lot of isolated 1v1s and a little bit of overzealous pushing from Ferris State could have swung that thing back in their favor. But that all being
10
said,
seconds to insertion.
FSU does get an attacking round win. Those are rare in the form of Skyscraper, maybe not quite so rare, hopefully, on Chalet. And they'll be looking to recreate that form going into these next few rounds. It's again a snowmobile defense. Usually whenever a team defends a site twice in a row, my general thought is that they know exactly, they messed up in a big way, and they know exactly what caused them to mess that up. It's because of that, you'll sometimes see that these teams will then change up their strategy in order to be a little more effective the next time around. And just be like, you know what, here are these minor details that we could fix. I think the strat's still good. It's just more of the execution that we had going into it that wasn't quite working out. A ram upstairs as well is going to give a lot of Ferris State a lot of pressure, but they're not aware this player sitting inside the master bedroom closet. It's Void. We've seen him in these positions before, playing a very hefty lurk kind of location. A roamer that you have to watch out for. Deimos is again in Capilot's hands, an operator that we've seen him play quite a bit in Skyscraper as well, and will be used to effectiveness here, but they don't know where Void is. I think that might be a key player to watch for this round, because he could very easily play spoiler on this roam clear. And even later in the round, if he isn't cleared off of roam clear, well, you know what happens then. You have to deal with flanks, you have to deal with alternate angles. Florida Boy has to deal with being dead for the next minute and a half at least, not including drone phase and all that in between. Akron Club striking first. Void still potentially unseen. Zone does get one, but look at where he is. Look at where Ferris State is. Void could very easily play spoiler. Capilot loses his head to the 416. There might be another one going down. The buck was detected. However, fire rate will be Zone's friend. The readjustment that you're able to make with the C8 does work out in his favor. A 3v2 situation. Akron Club again at a man disadvantage on defensive snowmobiles.
It's about a minute left in this round 3. Could go either way. Zone's gonna walk his way towards dining hallway. Looking through the floorboards. Have been destroyed. Shoot playing in storage room. Kind of backed up a little bit in the corner. It's not going to be his ultimate detriment just yet. Right, Julio's not going to get much of anything. Tango gets Julio. V-Dog The refrag on the Tango. It's a 1v1 situation. 15 seconds to go. V-Dog looking for the wine cellar plants. Looks like he is going to get the plant. He's going to have to be very vigilant. Shoot. From behind here.
Defenders have
Shoot is going to win the exchange. And he's going to, well, see what he's going to elect to. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Shoot. Oh, my lord.
You just had to do it to him.
He just had to do it. No.
Defender mission success.
That's so petty. But you got to give it to Shoot winning the 1v1 there. I mean, you know, I saw that he was knocked and I'm just like, hey, is he just going to leave him be and just go for the defuse? Nah. Let's just chuck a C4 and let's hope it sticks, you know? It's just, oh my goodness.
You know what would have been even more rude though? Because I think that items with a thrown impact deal 5 damage. He could have just like thrown the C4 at him and killed him with the impact directly. That would have been the rudest thing to do at the end of the day.
Yeah,
but really,
for sure.
Great clutch pulled out from Shoot. The TCSG is a DMR. I mean, Rainbow Six classifies it as a shotgun. If you ever get one of those shotgun challenges for your battle pass, you can use the TCSG and it counts, but really that thing is a DMR. It hits like an absolute truck. And even if you have all of the fire rate of the R4C, a couple of body shots from that thing, even with a 3-armor operator, will still knock you down a couple of shots if your trigger finger is fast enough. And it really is in the case of Shoot. This time winning out the clutch, Akron Club getting their second round win they wanted. And now as we go into the next half of this half, or the second quarter, I guess, site's going to be held inside of Bar and Gaming. And usually with Bar and Gaming, you're seeing a pretty aggressive roam / upstairs hold. It's a very specific hold that teams usually opt for. But it'll involve the castle. It sometimes involves Mira. However, Mira has been banned here by Ferris State, as Akron has also banned Valkyrie because of their effectiveness on Skyscraper. But all the same, upstairs hold. It's a very common thing for Bar and Gaming. You hold inside a library and have basically everything opened up. It's an open floor plan. Only Tango's on site, just to show you just how off-site this hold is usually done.
The attacker's bomb diffuser has been
Void will be striking first yet again, but it'll be V-Dog on the blitz to make sure that the Jaeger isn't able to cause any more damage yet again. But no, Void God is one, and V-Dog's down to 26 HP. This could look a little hairy for Ferris State depending on how things unfold here.
You're gonna see Julio on that balcony in front yard for a possible peek. He sees one member of Akron Club trying to get a little bit of a jiggle peek, perhaps. It's not going to work out for him. Zone, on the other hand, gets Crimson. Shoot, playing on the stairs. Capelot has the angle. It's the headshot. Takes out Shoot. Doge gets Zone. It's a 3v2. Ferris State up on the man advantage. Doge electing to open up the wine cellar hatch. Julio just holding an angle onto library stairs. And Capelot looking to pick up the diffuser. That's exactly what he does. On mezzanine, on the stairs.
Whoa.
Doge finding a pick. That's Julio. It's a 2v2. It's a full health Capitao on a 26 HP blitz against Akron. At this point, here to C4, and that's Tango claiming the life of V-Dog, and it's a 1v2. Ferris State down to Capelot. It's a 1v1. Oh my goodness. Oh, and Tango with the clutch for Akron. Back-to-back clutches we've seen from the Zips.
Mute left on 3 HP. You sneeze on him hard enough and he's out of the round. But that M5 rings out exactly when it needs to from Bar. a little bit of a quick peek. And unfortunately, when you're playing Capital, you're not given the greatest guns in terms of fire rate. So even if that had been pre-fired, it's possible that Tengo could have swung wide on that and had plenty of time with the M5 anyway to claim the last little bit of HP that was left to the Capital's name. 3v1 in terms of round differential for Akron Club, despite the strong start that Ferris State had. I mean, I think that Ferris State did a lot of things right in that round. They tried to push in from Solarium to get the roam clear. They were in a 2v4, and then they just throw it. They were in a 2v4. It was a clutch for Akron at the end of the day. And clutches are, as someone once put it, rounds that you were never meant to win. Because being at a man disadvantage, realistically, the numbers add up to say that you shouldn't be winning these, but Akron stands firm and wins it anyway. So, great little start from them. Absolute worst that they can do is tie this 3-3 as they take us back upstairs into master bedroom and office. They've gone off the blitz, by the way. VDog deciding, and probably the rest of Ferris State deciding, that the operator, while it has made some impact, hasn't been the most effective for them overall. And really, I think that does come down to how Akron is just equipped to handle it. Even without the Warden, although the Warden's being brought now, we haven't seen it brought very often. First round, it was killed immediately. But even without the Warden in some of these rounds with the blitz, Akron has been able to handle this blitz just fine anyway, holding up crossfires, trying to obfuscate vision or make distance, even shoot out his shoulders a little bit and whittle him down. It's been almost detrimental in some ways for Ferris State because they've relied so much on that being the spearhead. But with these rounds now, a little bit of an entrance into library. They spot the player on top of Chimney. Crimson's, though, Capilot tries to jump in with that intel operator. The Grim will be the first to fall. And ironically, the operator's name also seems to line up with how Ferris State's chances might be for the rest of this round. Grim.
Yeah, losing a Grim early in this is definitely not doing any favors for Ferris State, but Crimson getting a two-piece early on in this round. It's really setting the tone. We could be seeing he gets a triple kill. Keep an eye on him to see if he gets any more. It's down to Julio and VDog for Ferris State. Julio trying to show us his great trigger finger ability here with that 417, but it's not going to net anything just yet.
What's funny is that Crim's getting 3 kills this round. Well, it's not an ace shoot. You've ruined it. But with Crim's getting 3 kills this round, that's actually the first 3 kills that he's had this game. And we come alive in the 5th round. So, some people are late bloomers, and that's fine. Crim's finally finding his stride as Julio strides his way into library and towards certain doom. Could be a flawless round for Akron if can't claim anything back. Crims might want the 4-piece. They obviously hear this operator in here, but look at the discipline from Akron. Not really peeking anything. Aside from that, flawless round. Crims ties it up with 4K. Unfortunately, stealing the ace. We were robbed of the clip. We were robbed of the comp clip to post to Twitter. But that's all right. Akron Club, they might be robbed of the clip to post to Twitter, but they are up 4-1, and they're sitting very comfortably in these opening few rounds.
Yeah, and then they played library very well on, what we saw seconds ago. I mean, just holding crosses inside library to ensure that, no, shock, 1v4 into a 1v2 happens, and, that was the difference in that round. Akron Club looked very prepared in that defensive round, and that's what ultimately got them to here.
We're looking at the score lines as well on the bottom of our screens. Zone is the highest frag in the server right now at 9-4, but Ferris State have struggled to keep up behind that spearhead of attack. Meanwhile, Akron might be up 6-3 thanks to the clutch that was pulled off earlier. But the rest of them are all sitting at an even 4 kills. And when you have a team that has that even of a KD, it really does make me think that on maps that Akron might be more familiar with, you're going to see a lot more cohesion overall. And that's why I think we're seeing a 4-1 round advantage now. Site's been taken back downstairs into Snowmobile and Wine Cellar, by the way. So Ferris State will have to find a way to reaggress. This time, not bringing the Ram. Still bringing the Buck, because it is absolutely necessary for all the wooden floors that sits above the site. But this time around, we're doing a lot more intel-heavy, sort of like anti... Oh, there's Void. Void taken out of his chest as he's dropped down to 20 HP. Oh, and he tries to cross, but V-Dog's still holding that angle. Void probably not entirely expecting that, hoping that he can win the reflex test. And that 28 HP against the ARX, well, that is not a reflex test that you're going to win, even at only 700 rounds per minute. I don't know why I know that one specifically, but it's a number that we'll keep in the back of our pocket here. Julio, though, in terms of numbers, has 0 on the HP bar. Will eventually get picked up by his teammate, but I think there was somebody who was sitting aside of Solar. V-Dog, though, makes it good for his team. Doge, the aggressor, I believe, who had been the one who had knocked down Julio, will be knocked into the dirt himself. The 3v5 for the last minute and a half of the round. And Ferris State have done great work on their own job, not just finding where the operators are for Akron Club, making sure they're no longer permitted to live on this upstairs site. If they win this will be their second attacking round win, specifically on snowmobiles, actually. This is a site that Ferris State seem equipped to deal with. Akron, on the other hand, have not quite found their way in. Oh, I didn't. Oh, that's, you know what, that's information to me. I don't play this operator very often. Didn't know you could zoom with echo drones. Anyway.
That's nice. So you're trying to get a C4 kill, and he does. Get zone from
Attackers have located a bomb.
First floor. That narrows it down to a 3v4. 43 seconds left. Julio claims the life of Shoot. It's down to Crimson and Tango here. Capalot from behind on the Wine Cellar hatch picks Crimson, and it's down to Tango. Gonna be targeted by the Deimos tracker. Back is pretty much against the wall here. He's got to dodge a frag grenade. Gets one though. That's gonna be the Deimos.
15 seconds to go. Attackers are activating the bomb diffuser.
Plant is down. Julio finishing it off from the blue hallway, holding those library stairs.
I was a little worried for a second. I mean, we saw on the round that Akron won on Snowmobile. They had the clutch from Shoot, who was playing the Kite at the time. And then you have Tango in a 1v4 with the MP7. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, man, he knows exactly where that Deimos is, where that Deimos is going to be flying in from.
Attackers need to locate and
If Deimos has the diffuser there, which would have been a massive misplay, that...
Attackers have discovered the...
Oh man, that, again, like, rounds like that, they make me nervous. Even though it's like, oh, 1v4 wasn't all that close. There's some situations in that can get extremely close, and that was one that I felt could have been opened up for Akron at the end of the day, but Ferris State, they do well on their number count. They get the objective down. They play exactly how they need to, and do have a decent run clear as well. Make sure that they get those operators who have been playing on offsite. At any rate, 4-2. Akron Club at the advantage after the end of the defensive half, which is kind of typical from what we see from this game anyway.
Attackers are moving to
Ferris State now have to prove their mettle on the defensive half on their own map pick now.
Be the first time we get to see Ferris State on defense, at least for Jay. Stream. Got a Frost, you've got a Warden, a Fenrir, and a Zombie and Jaegers. Solid lineup.
Send a roam over by Kitchen and Dining too. This is a basement bomb site? No, this is, sorry, I didn't see where the bombs were exactly at the time. This is a bar and gaming bomb site. Not only have they extended the defense up into the library, they're extending it out into the dining side as well.
Dude's gonna make his way into Solarium.
The tertiary bomb site pick first as well. I think this is Ferris State's way of testing their ability on this map, really. Oh my goodness. And that will be a very good statement to make. The Jaeger of Capilot strikes. Tengo. No more buck available, which means you don't have a lot of that verticality pressure for the remainder of the round now for Akron. And this could be a good start for Ferris State's defense. Lion drone does go out, pings one player, possibly one that Akron's already well aware of, but they won't be made aware of yet again. And it will be a player on library stairs. Those Grim Bees getting all of the information cleared along with the play which is being removed from the top of those stairs. But realistically, what's happened there is that Capilot, who is playing on the top of these stairs, has wasted so much time. I mean, there's only a minute left, and Akron has lost another player. Doge is now gone. Sure, the remaining players might be alive. Shoot does read the angle from Capilot down. Gridlock against Jaeger. Not a tale as old as time, but one that might be one for the history books. If Ferris State do end up mounting a fantastic season here, Void evens the man count out, though. But Crimson's been dropped onto the ground with 20 seconds remaining in an M5 sitting in the doorway from V-Dog. Julio makes sure that Void isn't allowed to live for the rest of the round. There's only 10 seconds remaining. This is looking like it's going to be a good Ferris State defensive round win. Players pour in from Mudroom. Florida Boy sends some MP7 shots back their way. The Bailiff knocks the Frost on the ground, but doesn't even claim the kill, so you can't pad the stats with that one. I'm sorry to say, bud. And there we go.
Well,
Ferris looking a little more comfortable now.
Even if Florida Boy can't pad the stats on that Bailiff knock, I mean, it's nice to see him finally getting involved in this matchup. I mean, before that pick, he was 0-5, so it's nice to see that wealth being spread around the team of Ferris State on their first defending round. I think they held that very, very well.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Deploying jammer. Morgan's ready. Shoot it if you need it.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Zone putting up 10 kills to 6 deaths. He's definitely been the contributing factor for Ferris State in this matchup thus far. I mean, it's only 1 round difference right now between both teams, so we'll see what else he can do. We'll see if Florida Boy can continue to step up his game as well. He's going to be playing as Maestro, so great intel is going to be hopefully utilized by FSU here.
Florida Boy has been playing the support role. I believe was entirely playing Ace on attack as well, if I'm not mistaken. And have been getting the plants down. So I think, like, in terms of objective play, Florida Boy has been playing okay, you know, with the support of Ferris State around him. But I definitely do agree, even with you playing a supportive operator, supportive role, you still want to have a player who can at least get some kills back. So I think if Florida Boy starts coming online for Ferris State, this could be a really good set of rounds here. Now, this is a classic kind of cheesy strat. You throw a smoke at the main wall, the snowmobile wall, open it up with a Maverick, and then have the glass fire through.
Setting up a sequential breach.
Practicing is active.
But it doesn't look like they're being given anything here. A lot of SFSU's players are all sitting comfortably elsewhere on sites, or even on a roam here, really. Void is an interesting angle, though, all the way back inside a big garage. This long angle looks all the way into connector. If anyone rotates through there, or happens to rotate in front of him inside of Wine Cellar, or goes through the rotate hole that's made by default from Snowmobile into Wine Cellar on the close wall, could spell their death. However, I think the fact that they haven't given away a kill early in this round means that Akron might have to find a different strategy than sitting outside of Snowmobile wall and actually start pushing for things here. With Wine Cellar wall open, they do have the long angle to work with, but not much else beyond that.
And that's Julio getting a pick onto Crimson. Kickstarting this round. Oh, and Caplot follows suit. Nice headshot. Claiming Tango. So now the Maverick and the Ram are both gone for Akron. Left with Glaz, the Gridlock, and the Ace. Shoot's gonna get Julio. Narrow the blow down, at least for now. Trying to go through the rotate hole into basement hallway is Shoot. Florida Boy holding an angle in Wine Cellar here on that rotate that Shoot wants to come in from. Sees the Maestro. Down to 3 HP. Shoot not able to win the gunfight. It's up to Void for Akron. Try and win this one out. 15 seconds remaining. He's got to worry about a Stolas, and he's got to worry about the mute. See what he can do. Not much of anything. Caplot catches him from behind. And that is how the round ends.
Ferris ties things up in a little bow, 4-4. Solus was the operator you had to worry about a little bit more. And Florida Boy actually, again, holding down that Wine Cellar wall. It was the peek from the Ace, was Void, from the main Wine Cellar door at bottom of West Main that ended up killing him, but I still think that being able to cut down the gridlock on that was what really helped contribute to some of that defensive round win as well. Wasting so much time, really, for Akron's attack. And now Ferris State find themselves in a tie game. We might see a repeat again of a Skyscraper where we go all the way in overtime, considering that things have been kind of going back and forth, and both of these teams seem very evenly matched overall. Zone built a little more equal. 11-6 for Ferris State so far. On that Castle as well, and I think people underestimate Castle really in terms of his fracking ability, because people think, oh, the ump is not the strongest weapon, the damage is okay, but the rate of fire is kind of low. But really, the boon that it has is that ACOG. And then you bring Castle into the mix, and you waste so much time with this operator by blocking off lines of sight, blocking off rotates that the attack can make, defending your players for it as well. It's overall a pretty solid operator, but its impact remains to be seen, as Zone is taking a position that we saw Void doing pretty similarly on their defenses, on Akron's defenses. It's upstairs site. Julia, to support him as well, inside the master bedroom, knows that there's a player on rappel. Legion Mine shot off from West Main, so that'll give some indication that the gridlock's over here now. Whether Ferris State choose to act on that immediately or not remains to be seen. Tango also on the big window over by Master Bedroom. Well, upside down rappel, but Julio's not giving any sort of consolation prizes here. Not trying to wild swing, just wasting so much time just by simply sitting there. Menacingly.
Yeah, that's what you want to do as a defender in this game. Waste as much time as possible. We've seen both teams kind of do that. I mean, early on in this match, we saw Void in a 1v1 situation kind of just stall out the time because he didn't push. You know, being a defender is definitely a sophisticated role in this game. It's easier said than done. You know, some players like to be aggressive and push the attack when, you know, they're really not supposed to. So it just comes down to the players and the way they execute on defense. And that's how both of these teams have looked and how they've been able to perform exceptionally well. Is that a track stinger kill? It is.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think what had happened was Florida Boy got down by a grenade, and then there were tracks that were dropped on top of him as well. so
adding insult to the injury, pretty much. And meanwhile, we've got a plant going down. It's Crimson.
1v3 though. Gets one. Here's another on the stairs. Here's.
Wow, gets the warden. It's a 1v1 off the double kill. Has to look for zone though. Zone knows the diffuser is in kitchen. Oh, he loses the fight to Crimson. At 3K to clutch it. Wow.
Stellar clutch. Absolutely wonderful clutch from Crimson's there. Gets the plant down when all the other players are focused by the fireplace main side of the map. Then 2 players rotate down from Solarium stairs. The mute peaks first, but Crimson's just a little bit faster on the draw. Then the mute, or the warden peaks with the glasses, being able to negate the blind that had come in. And even then, that ARX, even though it only has 21 bullets in its magazine, it packs an absolute punch if you can get some good body shots down. And that'll be a round that was definitely Ferris State's to win, but because of the objective play from Akron, they're the ones who are able to pull it out there at the end of the day. And the head of Crimson's on the wall looking into trophy was mere pixels away. Like, you could see the way that the outline, because we can see outlines of all the operators because we're observing the game. And you can see how the outline was just barely out of view for Ferris State. It was so incredibly close on that round, and Crimson's, with a little bit of luck, does actually manage to pull off the 1v3 in fantastic fashion. So 5-4 now. 1 round away from taking this to match point for Akron. 2 rounds away from winning the map as well and just sending us home with a 2-0 map score. But Ferris State not far behind. Only 1 round really separates them at the end of the day here.
I just think Akron Club's awareness is really going to be the contributing factor to help win them this game. I mean, we saw in that last round with Crimson his ability to just be aware and have a great game sense of, you know, where everybody was coming from on the side of Ferris State. So if they can continue that for the next, say, 2 rounds, I mean, they walk out of here with a 2-0 finish, but can't get ahead of ourselves because we know how great Ferris State can be, and they have time to really show us that once again.
All players stacked onto trophy stairs for the defense. They're gauging where the attack is coming from. It's not coming up from trophy. Solarium seems to be safe for now, which then communicates to Ferris State that most of the players might be over by main, and especially by the all-important room of library, possibly K9 Valk. A little bit of damage dealt to shoot, but more damage has been dealt to Florida Boy, who's on the Kaid. However, Crimson's, who had pulled off that fantastic clutch from last round, will find his maker, meet his maker, form Zone. 13-7 the scoreline for Zone, by the way. And Florida Boy with the dock could get healed up fully. Julia, though, brought very low. An angle from K9 Valk as well for Void. Makes it very difficult for Ferris State to defend the lawn of this now. The deployable shield that had been in piano is also gone, so that long angle is a little more treacherous than it had been initially. Prone behind the piano, using the piano as your kind of own makeshift little deployable shield. Boy brought it even lower now. Zone doesn't really have an angle because he's worried about the piano window. Doge gives him reason to be worried. In fact, it's 2 players down, Florida Boy and Julio. Victim. The nade goes through to take out the rest of his life. Void from behind. He's actually inside of the K9 Valve breach. A great shot for Capital out of the piano window, though, and a C4. Void, who hadn't been the star so far of this round, has been silenced. Tengo has to shine bright here. Air jab goes off. I know he's covered by this doorway. A drop shot doesn't go through. Tengo doesn't even take any damage from that. The C4 had knocked out the plant, but only 18 seconds remain. V-Dog has to take down. Oh no, that's the wrong place to be, Tengo. He was trying to play a Claymore in the window, or in the doorway.
Oh
Tengo
my
swings
goodness.
wide with the M5.
Wow.
What an absolutely chaotic back and forth between both of the players. The time running out makes it so that the Thatcher has to go for the peak, but he doesn't have the ability to. And that close angle held down by the M5. I mean, that's a tale as old as time. Ferris State tie it up 5-5.
Yeah, it almost looked pretty dangerous for V-Dog. I mean, those initial shots with the SMG-11 did not connect, but lucky for him that M5 did come in handy, like he alluded to, Sojourner. And that's what really did it for Ferris State in order to win that round. It's such a chaotic round, too. I mean, you have grenades all over the place. You have multiple C4s being detonated. I mean, there's just chaos all over the battlefield.
Yeah, we saw what, 2 C4Ks that round. We saw nades flying out. The dock like pinned inside a piano was kind of the linchpin of that round, so you couldn't heal up the Kaid who was sitting inside of sight. It's just so much was going on at 3 places at once. We kind of needed like 4 separate video feeds to really get a full picture. My goodness, what a round. That's the stuff that like makes you love Siege, though. I absolutely love that kind of chaos.
Bomb located by
For sure. They're all tied up at 5 for both respective squads here. See how Akron responds. Florida Boy using that bailiff to great use, opening up lines of sight within bar. As we said, definitely a roam heavy site on the defense here. Caplot's gonna get Tango. Immediately gonna award the man advantage to Ferris State.
Activated tracks.
I'm looking over my stats from last map. Both teams on the opening pick were exactly even. Well, almost exactly even. Akron had the leg up in terms of the 1 round because of 15 rounds. But here now, Ferris State have actually had the opening pick 6 times. Akron having it the other 4. Or, sorry, 5 there. Julio adding to that tally. Crimson's on the Grim. Will not be continuing for the rest of this round, at least. The Jackal and the Ace. At least you still have the Ace alive, so you're able to get some of the walls open. The hard breach available for you. But without the Buck being able to open up the floor inside a library, and without a Capitao to clear some of these corners, I do fear that Akron's attack might be stunted by the fact that there's such a good hold here. Are you actually looking at pixels of that player there and you're just not realizing it? I'm not sure what's going on there with the visuals. It was like some jumping around of the... Alright, well, that's interesting. I think it was like a visual bug for a great little peek from Shoot that actually catches the player who's playing over by the display cases on library stairs. It's Capelon. Seems to be favoring this position quite a lot too. Oh, Julio just stacks on some of the miseries though for Akron. Not a flawless round though. 30 seconds left.
Boy, just cannot find Caplot. Finds V-Dog, but Caplot finishing it off for Ferris State, and they jump ahead in the lead, and we get a timeout request from Akron.
They did this last game. It was match point for the opposition. Call the timeout. Reset ourselves. We're 1 point away from tying things up and forcing it to overtime ourselves. But if Ferris State win this, they take the second map and we'll be going into Lair as the decider. So what do you think is that Akron is bringing to this discussion that they might see needs to change in their attacks against Ferris State here?
I think in general, just trying to, pick apart Ferris State one by one, because they've been doing a great job, really controlling the crowd that is the attacking side. Akron is offering on Chalet, but I mean, just the individual play we've seen from some of the Ferris State, Caplot, Zone, V-Dog. I mean, they're just winning their contested gunfights more so than Akron would usually be doing. But, I think with this timeout, they're going to have a chance to reset their minds, reset their strategy, and just try to figure out a way to say, hey, let's go after this person, and then we'll go this person. But, it's going to be hard when you're playing against operators that are great at crowd control. So, I mean, that's going to be the deciding factor, is finding out a way to work around that.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Work around that they will, with the Deimos being swapped off for the Jackal. I think Deimos is picked here because you're going to be more likely to find players
10 seconds
on the
remaining.
roam when you're playing on a... Well, you're going to find players on the roam that
5
you can
seconds
safely
left.
enter against, I should say, when the site is played on Playmobil. If the site's being played on bar, I think that you have this pervasive presence around library. And you know that in order to get into library, you have to go through solar, or you'll have to find a way to just brute force your way into library. And Deimos is a little more unsafe in that way because you're usually just pushing into the single room that all the defensive site is being held on. Whereas Deimos, when you have a more extended realm, like what Basement is offering you, you're more likely to be able to find success with that operator. At least that's how I felt from the time that I played him. And now, as things go out here, player spotted over by kitchen side, so they know that there is some own presence being held over here. It's a really interesting setup as well from Ferris State. The wall between Snowmobile and Cellar has been opened. Oh no, Florida Boy caught reinforcing a wall. There's a minute down in the round. It's a bit of a strange misplay. I think the idea behind that had been to try and reinforce the rotate they had made, but Crimson's with the Deimos tracker playing that so effectively against Julio. One traded back by Zone, gets his one and leaves. V-Dog actually gets another onto Doge. It's dog-on-dog violence here. Kamala watching his player rotate down from blue, make sure that he's safe to come in. But it's a 3v3. Only a minute and a half has passed. It's a much more active round than we've seen from both of these teams in either of the maps. But a pretty hefty push into Wineside. We'll see how Ferris State handles this now.
The Zone playing on library stairs here. We're going to try to go for a plant inside of Wine Cellar. Is he going to be able to stick this thing? No, he's not. Caplock gets shoot. Boyd is knocked. Wins the gunfight against Zone. It's really a 1v2 at this point. Holding a nice angle behind that deployable shield. It's going to be spotted off of the Maestro. Checking corner into blue hallway and now into Wine Cellar. Gets the knock. Not sure if he knows that, but it's a 1v1 at least for now. Black gonna get the finish onto Void. It's about 24 seconds remaining here. 1v1 officially. Oh, and Caplot is going to win it. And we're gonna go on to the decider of Lair.
Whoa. My goodness. That Ferris State proving yet again their defensive capabilities. I mean, that was 5 rounds that they won on defense, on Chalet, on a map that usually doesn't have that wide of a split, but they made it work. They show us why it's their map pick, and oh my goodness, Capelog with the 2.0 KDA, 16 and 8 across 12 rounds. Absolutely stellar performance from him there. And you see Crimson's at the end, knocks the player. He had clutched it before, but wasn't able to get it at the end in Wine Cellar there. Very close match to take all rounds in regulation. Ferris State tie things up 1-1.
Yep, and now we'll be going on to the decider layer, and that's going to be really interesting because, like we've been saying this whole stream, it's really anybody's game. We've seen brilliance from both Akron Club Gold and Ferris State, so it all comes down to a head with this decider, and I'm excited to see what is going to happen.
I'm excited to see what's going to happen as well, but of course we need to take a few minutes break to let all the teams get their water breaks and get the next map set up. So before we do that, we'll just go on for a quick break ourselves. Grab some water yourself. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Pick from IUPY, the flash comes out, trying to push out connector. I'm sorry, and now it's looking like a 1v right there, waiting for the drop. It go down, we'll see one. Push when they gotta push back.
And we got 30 esports packs. Alright. I expect to get 1,000,000 battle points. Alright, that's actually lame. Alright, let's keep going. Yep, battle points, ready? Uh-huh. Yep, of course, right? Alright, I'm curious. Alright, what are we at? We're at level 56? Okay, let's see how far we can get here by the end of the 28 packs. It's gonna be a charm. Okay, that's kind of clean. It's never gonna be ran, but it's clean. More battle points? Yes, of course. Alright, more. Let's go. Give me more. Yeah, come on, give me more. Let's go. Come on, give me more. Yup. Yup. Why not, right? Come on. I think this thing is glitched. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's a W. That is a W background right there. I like that. Another one? I guess, right? Alright, more battle points? Yup. So can we kind of just think that anything with purple is just battle points? I assume so. Alright, let's keep going. Headgear? Ooh, okay, that's actually clean. No summit too high. Alright. There we go. Now we got the full set. We got the full set for Zoph. Good thing I like Zoph. Cade, I'm not a big fan of. Personally, I am a big shotgun hater, so I don't really I don't want to run Cade a lot. But he's a good op. Sure. Alright, more battle points. Why not, right? Why not? Okay, something good. Yo! That is actually a W, guys. That is a W. Okay, I will run that in the off season, 100%. I like it. So we have the headgear and the uniform and the card. You guys are wild. Alright, let's keep it going. Okay, a weird looking charm. Alright. I didn't need that. Instead, what I need, battle points. At least give me the 1,500, please. No? Okay. Oh, well, we got the gun skin. Hey, that is clean. I got a black ice for this gun, but this is really clean. I might actually switch it off for that. That's pretty worthwhile. Okay, W. That's actually a W. I had the headgear and the uniform already, so that's a big W. Okay. Cade is done. That's awesome. Okay, another charm. More battle points? Come on, at least give me the 1,500. No, okay, alright. Now it's gonna give it to me. Yup. Alright, it met me in the middle. I'll take it. What were we at? Level 58? Alright, that's gonna change. And it's gonna go back down. Alright, game, alright. Give me 1,500 one more time. Okay, alright. Charm? Ooh, okay, alright. I like that. I actually like that. Alright, here we go. I mean, it's alright. I'm not a LMG user. So I would never play this, but it is clean. Yeah, that's all I got. We got 3 more. Okay, now that is a W. That is an absolute W for Smoke. I like that. I'll run that. Headgear for it? Yes. I love it. Alright, we got one more, guys. One more. Jaeger Black Ice? Nah, I'm kidding. What is it going to be? Okay. We got the full set. We got the shotgun skin. So, W pack opening. We had 30 of them. Went through it. Got a lot of battle points. Where did we end up in our total? Level 65.
super pick from IUPUI. The flash comes out, trying to push out connector. I'm sorry. And now it's looking like a 1v right there, waiting for the drop. It go down. We'll see one. Push when they got him pushed back.
Gets another one, gets another one!
Oh, they're gonna.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another map here on the Midwest R6 broadcast. If you're just catching up with us now, Ferris State won the second map of Chalet, 7-5 over Akron Club Gold. The first map was won by Akron Club Gold. It was Skyscraper in a maximum overtime 8-7 affair. And that brings us to our map layer. But before we get into that, we could also talk about last map stats, because there were a couple of things that stood out to us from that map in Chalet. And that being the fact that Capalot has a 2.0 KDA, a 16-8 kill death ratio. Absolutely stellar performance from him on his team. But Akron Club, not far behind overall in their round count. Pretty even kill counts, I would say there. What do you think about this stat spread, Turbo?
Yeah, I think this is absolutely great for both teams. Obviously, Ferris State had the upper hand once we got to the defensive rounds for their sake. But I mean, you can't take away from Akron Club's performance in this matchup. Sure, they fell short, but there was moments where they looked absolutely brilliant. Clutches from Shoot, clutches from Void, Tango doing some things, and then Crimson as well towards the end of that matchup. It was too little too late, unfortunately. But, all around, both these teams are evenly matched, and it should be no surprise that we're going to a map 3.
Absolutely not, considering their track record coming in from qualifications. With all that sort of statement out of the way, I think we're ready to jump right into bans, perhaps, if we're there. Are we there? Are all the teams in yet? We still waiting? Okay, we're still waiting. All right, well, if we're still waiting, then we'll just go back to casters and talk about what we saw on that last map. I still am a little bit interested, and I'm kind of extrapolating on the idea of the Flores ban that came out in Chalet. And I think this is a ban that, oh, wait, we're in game now, but this is a ban that in Chalet actually had brought about because of the deployable shield that you can play on piano, and because of a lot of the setup you can do with some of that bulletproof utility that Flores outright denies. That being said, I don't think we're going to see that operator ban on this map in layer. Ferris State locking in their first ban, and it's going to be Ram, which, again, an operator we saw played on Chalet, an operator that you can play on layer, because much like Chalet, actually, there's a lot of wooden floors to chew through, and those boogie drones are extremely effective at that. Second ban for the attack will be Ying. Akron Club seems to be consistent with keeping this operator away from both themselves and Ferris State, and I want to see that seeing the light of day. Defensively, what will be taken away first? I'm saying a zombie, but a Valkyrie is just as valid as well. Large map, lots of intel that you can gather, a lot of places to hide Valkyrie cams. And that leads us to Ferris's final ban, which, we'll wait a little bit here, but Valkyrie has been an operator that we saw it used to a lot of effectiveness for both teams on Skyscraper, and I think out of mutual respect for each other, that operator will be removed, as will Mira. So a couple of intel pieces removed from the operator lineups as we go into round number 1.
We'll see what kind of strats we're going to get on the map layer. not really a new map in R6 per se, but definitely one of the younger maps in the game's lifespan. So there's a lot of, you know, untapped potential, I'll say, with this map, because most people, I would say, aren't really big fans of Lair, but I mean, again, it is new and most people are still trying to learn the map. But I mean, with this untapped potential that you have here, you can see a variety of strats pulled off, and you know, the perfect duo of teams to really showcase that to us is none other than Akron Club and Ferris State. So I'm very intrigued to see what we're going to see in this map 3 to decide this matchup in general. Will Ferris State go to 2-0, or will Akron Club start their season undefeated? We shall see.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Could Ferris State win this map as well, they'll be mirroring their result from last week at 2-1, and possibly giving us a bit of an upset, really, because Akron has 2 teams in Division 1. This is one of them, Akron Club Gold. And they're still a very potent team. They've still shown up here in droves. So I'll be very excited to see if Akron kicks their season off, because this is their first game without the bye from last week, or if Ferris State can claw things back here. Defense is actually held inside of Armory, which, you know, with Lair being a relatively new map, it was actually just added to the pool. Am I lagging again? Okay, no, I'm not. Good. But we've just added to the pool in place of Oregon. There's a lot of potential for teams to bring things out here. Not a lot of teams have played it so far, but that might be just the perfect decider map, a map that neither team really knows what to do with. As Akron, they're lining up for this attack. Really, the only thing that seems to be holding them back is these smoke grenades. A couple of them have already been burned. Monty brought down to 65 HP. You have to worry about the rest of the players on this map. Actually, I just noticed it's 2 shields. You have Monty and Blitz to deal with. No more Blitz, though. So, V-Dog striking first for Ferris State. A minute and a half to go. Void taking a little bit of damage here from the peak angles, being held onto the armory wall. Doge thinks he has a long angle, but it's not quite there. Playing close on it. Concussion nade goes out, so it does have potential to go in. The smoke grenade goes through as well to protect the plant. Void on very low HP, but they have the vertical angle. No, the players planning here. They don't quite get it, but
oh my goodness!
Will claim the final 2 players.
Well, I don't think you can play it any better than what FSU just did.
Disabled the bomb diffuser. Defender mission successful.
Inclined to agree with you. A flawless round. Round number 1, you have a C4 to deny the plant. You have someone holding an off angle up onto Ops Room. Make sure that the Blitz isn't able to gain any ground. Play the roam just fine, and Akron, despite their want to go with the full frontal attack with the 2 shield operator lineup, are unable to find success in that at the end, and that's a very good opening round in Ferris State. A flawless round. I was going to say, if you TK, it's not a flawless round, but I think FSU is a little more restrained than that.
Yeah, to me, it's just the confidence that FSU had during that round. I mean, you know, we saw that Void had the diffuser, and he was trying to plant it, and the Monty was there. Instead of panicking, they really just played that well. They had somebody above watching below where the diffuser was, and that C4 was absolutely brilliant. It's exactly what they needed to turn the tide, and yeah, if Ferris State keeps up this confidence on defense, I mean, there is a great chance that they can pull this off.
Objective is to defuse a bomb.
Win.
Second floor bomb site picked out now. The R6 room, as they call it, because it's got all like the memorabilia that's been collected over time from Deimos's lair. There's a bunch of lore implications, but I don't know. We're not here for lore. We're here for the Battle of the Titans, really, in Division 1. Ferris State, again, with that opening round, have proven that they are willing to go toe-to-toe with what has been a historically favored team in the collegiate loop. That being said, I do think Akron has potential with this operator lineup to suss out the defense and find ways to work the ways in. I mean, the Thatcher nade goes out onto those walls inside of masks to prevent the bandit charges from taking away the Selma charges. And interestingly enough, oh, wait, hold on. Where did that come from? Tango's suddenly down. Julio's traded back by Void, but I'm surprised that you lose the Monty that early in the round. Granted, you do have Doge and Crimson's able to give you a lot of intel here with their operator picks, but it's not an operator you want to see going down first, especially for the attack.
Yeah, that was a huge pick from Julio onto the Monty. You know, at this stage, you don't really have your quote-unquote secure blanket with you, if you even want to call Monty that. And so they're just going to have to rely on the zero cams and Iana replicator at this point. You see Crimson try to shoot out one of those zero cams, but he's not able quite yet. See Caplot Prims. Doge holding an angle in server hallway. At least for the moment. Moving up into server. Trying to stare down what I believe is the R6 room. Doge gets Florida Boy. That narrows it down to a 3v3. It's a 3v2 Caplot. It's a double kill. Less than 30 seconds remaining. Zone. A nice headshot. It's just shoot remaining for Akron. FSU doing a great job of putting the Zips in a proverbial hole here.
10 seconds to go. 5 seconds remaining.
It's about 3 seconds remaining. Shoot gets one, and he's just gonna save it. He's just gonna save the KD at the end of the day. Not really much going for him in the final seconds of the Master and R6 room sight hold by Ferris State.
It was a great showing of how to quick peek from outside. But after you have a lot of that attack fall apart for Akron, and you put on the man disadvantage, it's really difficult to gain any sort of foothold inside of Lair, I've found. There's a lot of places for operators to hide, kind of similar to Consulate in some ways, I've found, in its shape. But at least a little bit more open, less cluttered than Consulate is. That being said, Ferris State having 2 rounds on the defense, we have seen them play extremely well on the defense for both the prior maps that we've seen today. Skyscraper, they had won, what is that, 6 rounds on defense, 1 round on attack. On Chalet, they won 5 rounds on defense and closed the map out that way. And so seeing Ferris State go up 2 rounds on defense is pretty much on par for them. They've been a very defensive powerhouse so far.
5 seconds remaining.
Akron Club have yet to find the cracks in the armor here.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
I mean, it is only the 3rd round, really, but when both of those initial rounds have been going so well in Ferris's favor, you do kind of get the sense like this is where Ferris is kind of setting themselves in cruise control. They're extremely comfortable with this now. Crimson's opens up a door to start the entrance into the 1st floor. Nothing on the basement yet, except for the warehouse wall, which will get opened up now. But still, you know, still in the preparatory kind of phase. Looking for some of these rumors of the Lion Deimos combo, but also putting pressure on the warehouse and eventually site with the Thatcher and Ace.
Like for a moment, Florida Boy was seen by both the Deimos tracker and also the Lion scan. Markers have faded away. Another Lion scan. It's built Caplot and Julio's position, so they're going to have to scramble around a little bit to make sure they're not in the same spots. Not much to worry about just yet. Getting deeper in this round, Caplot, fine shoot. Be an early man advantage for Ferris State. Crimson, a nice angle that time. Gets Capalot. Peeking from warehouse that time. In lockers, V-Dog wreaking havoc. Onto Doge. Dogecoin will not be to the moon. After all, Void with a frag onto V-Dog. It's a 3v3. All things even. It's about a minute remaining in this round 3. Void gets a double. Make his way through lockers, but he's going to have to shoot down a Malusi. Banshee does just that. 3v2. Ferris State holding a couple angles. And begins to tick. Void with a Selma in hand. He elects to do. Crimson's marks Florida Boy with the Deimos tracker. 20 seconds to go. It's down to a 2v2. Zone with some nice shots. With that DMR, gets a double. It's a 2v1. Void on his heels.
10 seconds to go.
Gonna go for the plant. He might have to just stick this one. It's a C4 from Florida Boy, and that's all she wrote for Ferris State. A third straight defensive round win. Beautiful. Oh, we can't even see the player. That's funny.
We've been censored. It's too violent of a death, I guess. Wow, I mean, a great defensive round win for Ferris. I do have to criticize Akron a little bit there. They brought the man count even, and all that Void wanted to do was walk in the door and plant. And with the Deimos tracker, the Deathmark tracker going out onto the Bandit player from last round, they knew exactly where that player was. And they're in a 3v2, right? You're at a man advantage. You know where one player is, you just watch the angle for the other one and don't over-peek it. And instead, it gets over-peeked, and Void gets 2 on players rushing in on intel that they don't have, and Ferris State, I think, is more lucky to get away with that round, but at the same time, they've done really well to capitalize on the mistakes made by Akron Club there. And that's why we find them at a 3-0 advantage now.
10 seconds remaining.
Similar lineup again for Ferris. Malusi we've seen become more and more frequent over the last few rounds. We saw it a couple times on Chalet, and we're seeing it here now at Lair again, as the bomb site has been moved into Armory for the second time, as Ferris State have completed the world tour of sites, as we say.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, you do a little tour, you go around, you get all 3 sites, and you leave the tertiary one, because, let's be honest here, he's going to be defending the other site on first floor in meeting and security. A lot of people. Or sorry, meeting and bunks. Armory and weapons that we usually defend here. Or am I getting them? No, I'm getting them backwards, sorry.
That's okay. We're all still learning Layer at the end of the day. Doge trying to do some quick peeking early on in this round. That's a little bit of damage onto Julio. And speaking of Julio, Void claims his life. 5v4. Tango shooting out some utility. That would be helpful for the defense. Capalot playing in the op room, and we've seen that spot be played perfectly by Ferris State earlier on in this game. We remember that C4 and also just the great cohesion that the Bulldogs showed in that instance. Frag grenade not going to take out the castle barricade. I believe that's the second time we've seen something like that happen. Sometimes a grenade RNG just does not work. Castle barricades. Ooh, this could be a knock for Capalot. Still got at least one more facing the doorway. That's going to be shoot. Shoot, not going to win it. Capalot gets shoot, and he knows one might be knocked outside. Crimson gets zone. It's basically a 3v3 at this point. Akron does regain diffuser. Tango be the one that has it. And Void does get res, so now the man advantage is slightly in favor of the Zips. We'll We'll see for how long. Caplot above in the ops room gets Doge, but cannot avoid Void. Nice play on words there. 3v2. The plant going down from Tango. A bit of a turtle plant. Florida Boy gets Crimson's. Beautiful C4. It's not going to connect, though. But Tango at 1 HP. Void gets a triple kill for the round. 2v1. V-Dog.
Attackers need to protect.
And
the
he
diffuser.
clutched this up for
Position
Ferris
compromised.
State. Goes where the Monty is. Trying to stick to the fuse. Oh! And Void is just going to take advantage of it. Seal the round for Akron.
Much better control play from Akron to put Ferris State off of their roam play. They know that Capital likes to play that ops angle, play the vertical. So what do they have to do? Well, they have to try and bait it out in such a way that they can't keep playing the vertical. Funny enough, because Capital couldn't capitalize on the fact that down a second player outside of ops room really does actually come back to bite them. Because I think it was the Nomad and the IQ that went down. So I thought that if it was Void that had gone down and then Void at 20 HP comes back and wins the round is like the ultimate insult at the end of the day. Like, oh, the player that you thought you didn't get got away at the end and wins the round. Either way, Akron Club, though, looking a lot more structured on that attack. Really good adaptation to what Ferris State has been doing for their defenses.
5 seconds remaining.
Bomb will go back into bunks in meeting. Excuse me. Goes back into bunks in meeting. So this first floor site being utilized yet again. Another one that's going to be sitting over or below ops room, so Capital won't have that verticality, but again, with a lot of the wooden floors that you have inside a lair, there will still be some verticality to play. Oh no, it is the one. Oh boy, I'm actually, I should just stop talking. I should just hand this off. I should leave. I always get the weapon racks of Armory messed up with the bed racks in bunks, because there's weapon racks in there too, and so I see the room and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's obviously Armory or in bunks, and I'm sorry. So I get that a little bit backwards. My apologies. It's a call out that my teammates also give. I always give wrong to my teammates. Anyway, that's embarrassing. Well, moving on from that. Armory and weapons is going to be the bomb site. Final answer, locking that one in. Ops is going to be played upstairs. And now Capital has a bit more support, a bit more of an adjustment. But Crimson's is getting this backside of the site cleared off on blue stairs, and so there's no real late rotate that can come through. Some angles being fired off here by Florida Boy, who has been dropped to 9 HP. They know that there's an operator over here. It's a very ill-advised peak when you're that low. Did take some HP off of Tango, but definitely nowhere near enough to down him. Capital again effective on this ops door shoot, falling victim for another round. Just Capital playing up here. You just can't outgun the MP5, it seems, for now. Crimson's another player to die. V-Dog on the scoreboard. However, if you combine V-Dog, Capital, and Florida Boy's HP together, you wouldn't get a full HP bar. So things are actually a lot closer than they seem. However, Capital, headshot is all you need to win your gunfights. Drop from around 60 HP to 20, but drops another player down to 0, leaving only Tango and Doge, two kind of shielding operators in a 2v5 kind of situation.
Oh, so kind of that hybrid shielded and Monty. The actual shield. It's down to a 1v5. Doge, the last remaining member for Akron Club. 30 seconds remaining, has to check every single angle possible, but Zone is going to finish it off in a flawless round for Ferris State. And a timeout called by the Zips.
Much earlier timeout than they've called before. But when you get flawless twice in the opening 5 rounds, that should definitely communicate to your team that something is going wrong here. Only Void has a positive KD right now for his team. Everyone else going double, if not triple negative. Tango, I think I know what Tango's real name is. It's Owen, as in 0-4. And these are things that Akron want to overcome. These are stats that they are not obviously happy with. And Ferris State, being this bastion of defense, is proven time and time again to be frustrating for Akron's attack. Can they bring it back on their defensive half? Possibly. I think it's not entirely crazy to say, considering what we saw on Skyscraper earlier. But if Akron are calling the timeout this early, I think that they have seen something that they are concerned with. And in my mind, that's getting flawless twice in these opening few rounds. So round number 6 might see some difference in approach. Doge actually bringing the Capit out, possibly to flush out Capilot on the roam. Of course, you can't go to Armory again after you've just won it. So on their last defensive round, they'll take things into R6 Room and Master. But still, some things do need to change. Ops Room is a component of this attack. You can see that wall's been opened up with reinforced wall over by Mezzanine. I mean, the Ferris State, again, will like to have presence over there, and Akron would probably like to not die on the doorway.
10 seconds to go.
Yeah, that would definitely be favored, not dying on the doorway for sure. And yeah, again, with the timeout, like you're saying, Soldier, it's, you know, there's more time for Akron to really rethink their strategy, what they want to do. And we know they're going to go at the Capit. So we'll see if that really does, to your point, maybe flush out Capilot, maybe, you know, open up the doors per se for the Zips to maybe have a little more leeway with what they want to do on the attacking side and forcing the diffuser to be planted. So, I mean, at this point, it's 4-1. It's the last round and a half for Ferris State on defense. So, I mean, winning this round would definitely be a positive momentum shifter, possibly as Akron will be going on the defense. But, you know, we'll just have to see what happens.
Setting up a sequential breach.
Thatcher charges have gone out onto the masked wall. No, they've gone out and tagged the bandit.
Stay close to me. I'm reloading.
Possible that I heard some ace charges go out as well. So there's some things that have been opened up. Akron dotting their I's and crossing their T's in terms of what is necessary to do. Julie on top of blue stairs has made his way in through service side. From store side. Blue stairs still a concern for Ferris State. They're worried about people peeking into ops. Worried about where this attack is coming from exactly. A drone is spotted out. I think Akron is still just testing things, testing the waters, but they'll test Doge's life points, and the answer will come back to 0. But VNOG does get traded back. It's picked up. Not before Crimsons can claim Capilot, who has been so effective in these early rounds. Zone with the SMG-11 removes the head of Void, the only positive player for Akron so far. C4 goes flying out. 2 of them, in fact. Tengo brought to 40 HP from that encounter as Crimsons is knocked down yet again. Shoot does get one back, playing on this wall inside a Master Room. Has managed to make his way up from mezzanine, or sorry, from Display Room, looking into R6 and Master. But Zone has been so effective this round with this SMG-11. That's 3 to his name. Tengo trying to get the 1v1, but only on 8 HP, and staring down the barrels of 3 very hungry FSU players. Dogs are barking, and they want the last bit of that snack. There's Tengo with 8 HP. 5-1 split defensively for Ferris State.
Dogs are definitely howling at Ferris State. I mean, what an incredible half. Them going 5-1 on their defending half. And yeah, just absolutely amazing gunplay from Zone that time in the round. I mean, that was really the tone setter. I mean, once, you know, the pieces fall apart for Akron, the Monty is practically useless. I mean, you have the Monty there for shielding purposes and shielding purposes only. I mean, you know, once the whole team around him kind of falls apart, there's only so much you can do in the situation. 1v3, 1v4 situation, you can't really do much as Monty.
This feels bad playing the shield operator and everyone just kind of falls apart around you. You're like, well, I guess shield operators do have some clutch potential now that they've been changed and feel rather powerful, but you still would like to have a rifle in your hands to play some of those long-range engagements. And realistically, at 8 HP, after a couple of C4s have been thrown away, Tengo really didn't have a whole lot of opportunity to go for anything else. Also, FSU, I've been talking about Caplot quite a few, for quite a few rounds, and we've seen his impact on these rounds, right? The Malusi swinging out. We've seen I mean, it's been a lot of Malusi, let's be honest with ourselves, on these defensive rounds being played by Caplot. And with that being on the ops doorway, it's been something that has contributed to his current KD. But Zone is also 8-1. Like, these two players have been doing absolutely fantastic. I might remind you, between those two on Chalet, there were 30 kills. These are obviously the players for Ferris State that have gone above and beyond in the stats department and have been really leading their team to either maximum overtime or victory in the case of last round. Kite Claw's taken off of the wall. Here, Florida Boy just kind of waiting for intel on that. Trying to juggle the Cade Claws in case of the Thatcher mark here. Crimson's is also over on Mezzanine, but there's a buck down below trying to get this. Uh-oh. Is that going to be a gravity-led C4? No, it's not. I think it's actually thrown into the wall and broke on the electricity. He has to go grab the other one and get this wall yet again.
Interesting turn of events for that C4. But yeah, like you were saying, Surgeon, Caplot and Zone have been putting in the work for FSU. They are the dream combination of peanut butter and jelly, I'll say that. They've been phenomenal. Void with a pick onto V-Dog to get us kicked off in this round 7, the first round of the second half, which Akron Club will be back on the defense. Great start for them. We'll see if they can continue the trend. It's now a 4v4. Julio takes out Doge. Less than a minute remaining here. Zone. It's a pick onto Void. Caplot is knocked. Sure, Crimson hearing sound effects from Caplot, but he is going to get rezzed. Zone with a nice flash to deter off any roamers for finish. With that, FSU does have the man advantage. They need to push site rather quickly here. They do have Diffuser in the hands of Florida Boy. Oh, and Zone shuts down Tango. It's a 4v2. Down the Crimsons. And shoot, he gets Zone. Gets a second. Can he get a third?
Bomb located by attackers. 5 seconds
Just jet. Caplot gets shoot. Caplot gonna have the chance to maybe plant this. Oh, but unfortunately, Crimson's finds him and Akron wins their second round of the match.
It all fell apart when Caplot on the Deimos went down inside of Medical. Was picked back up, but I think that the Deimos getting downstairs there was enough of a stall, enough of a delay in the round for Ferris State that they weren't able to capitalize on the time that it took to burn a flashbang and pick the player back up. And by the time he's picked back up and you try to push in through R6 room, you have the M5 sitting at the doorway. And that's only 20 HP to chew through. That's not a lot for the M5. That can easily knock basically any operator flat on their feet if they're close enough and get a chest full of pellets. So even a stray couple of pellets really would have claimed the end of Caplot there. And that's where things fall apart for Ferris State, despite having the man advantage. And then shoot as well. So consistent on that TCSG in some of these rounds, especially when what we saw from him on Chalet last map. Again, really proving his prowess here. Making sure that Akron don't go out with just one round. And instead, double that round count. I can do math. It's incredible.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. But yeah, you know, we discussed before that tactical timeout being taken by Akron Club to really reset their, you know, motives internally and, you know, what they want to do as a team. And, you know, that last round just showed you that there is some light at the end of the tunnel for this team. I mean, you talk about his consistency with TCSG. I mean, it was absolutely incredible, that double kill. You know, we're on to round number 8. We'll see if that trend continues for Akron Club to really win more of their gunfights and, you know, come to terms with FSU and be neck and neck with them once more. We've seen previously.
Both these teams proving to be defensive powerhouses as well. I mean, like 5 of Ferris State's rounds were won on the defense, and Akron winning 1 attack at least makes it so that it's not a flawless defense. But I feel like we're seeing very much a repeat of what we saw for Skyscraper. I don't know how this will continue. Crimson's will not. Julio, cranium removed.
Changing bags
Is what is the power word, cranium removal. But also Zone then uses the C4 no Jitsu and sends Zone sky high. Tango the one that claimed that, excuse me, on the mute. So still a 4v4 with a minute and a half remaining, both teams getting their opening picks sorted. Onto the Gridlock and the Wamai, arguably both decent operators to have later into the round, but at least not nearly as impactful as a C4 on the hands of the Mute or the Kayet. However, neither of those operators actually has their C4 remaining in their pocket, which does give Ferris State a little bit of brevity to work with here. Some shots from the AUG being fired through the floor to take some HP out of Julio. And things are coming to a head here with a minute remaining in a 4v4.
You notice as well, Julio has the Flores drones to his advantage, trying to maybe flesh out the remaining members of Akron Club here. Catch him off guard, lead to some easy picks from, say, the Buck, who's playing Armory. I mean, you know, they have the tools. It's just, can they use them to their advantage? Tango's going to get one that'll be capped a lot, but B-Dog will get Doge. Evened out at 3v3, about 20 seconds remaining here. 3v2. Shoot takes out Julio.
15 seconds to go.
Boy, arrows it down to a 2v2.
10 seconds remaining.
I like to maybe try to go for a plant. He's forced off of the plant, tries to go again. He might have to just try and stick this one, but Boyd is going to be coming around the corner. Gets the kill with the revolver, and Akron seals a second straight defensive round win.
It was interesting positioning from the Buck upstairs because the Grim was being shot from an off angle that was way off to the side. That wasn't defensible from the upstairs location. I mean, really, Buck's plan there was the plant going down and things going in Ferris State's advantage. And even with that, you didn't have the angle available to prevent the Kayed from flying around the corner saying yeehaw and sending some revolver rounds into Florida Boy's chest at the end of the day, which seals the deal for Akron. But it feels like Ferris State falling.
Evil eye on watching.
A similar trap that they did in a lot of their previous.
10 seconds to go.
Oh, I'm lagging out again. Observer, or is it me? I can't. Oh no, it is me. Discord said
are we back?
I'm back. Discord
Okay,
said
okay.
enough yapping. You've been talking too much. Silence. 5,000 ping upon ye. Anyway, I do think that Ferris State has this perpetual issue that we saw in Chalet and Skyscraper, where on their attacks they seem a bit hesitant, and they seem a bit slow, and they take a little bit too long on some of their attacks, and that leads them to these moments where if the right player dies, they are then paralyzed into indecision and lose any momentum that they had carefully built up for themselves overall. And that's where we see them start to slip in some of these rounds. Akron, playing to their credit, they're like, okay, yeah, we're fine with you playing slow because we know how these methods work. That's kind of unfortunate. Izami trying to vault through her own barricade actually ends up breaking it, but finds a different angle to sit on this desk here, and that'll be potent to deal with. Second charge goes out, so the Kite Claw was not successful in defending it, and they have the OSA set up outside for this long angle. All that remains now is putting down utility to go for the plant, but there's quite a few things the Akron Club will have to say about that final objective.
And that includes the Izami play from Doge, as that ACS-12 in hand, a powerful slug shotgun. Actually claims a little bit of damage from V-Dog, shoots him right in the foot, I believe. It's a grenade from Zone that does not connect. Trying to quick peek the angle. Behind the Talon shield lies the Osa. Could not get the pick. Doge. The ACS-12 gets Caplot. So I'm trying to quick peek this. Behind the Talon shield. Doesn't get anything. 4v4. Void searching for any possible intel on the Evil Eye. Spots a drone, is not able to shoot it. Julio gets Tango. Crimsons gets V-Dog. Back to an even slate. Doge gets one. Zone. The refrag. 2v2. Definition of a neck and neck round. Julio is going to be going for the plants. Side of Bunks has to get off of it though. Julio gets Void. It's a 2v1. Crimson's last remaining member all the way in the R6 room.
Attackers activating diffuser.
Going down from the storage hall to the bunk corridor. I have to play this head hole here. Extending a possible LOS. He has 30 seconds. Just to take down the castle barricade. That's going to draw some noise. He knows where diffuser is. Try to go for a fake diffuse. Grab the attention of Ferris State. Julio a little bit. Oh. Cannot win the fight, and Julio cleaning it up for Ferris State.
That's match point as well. 6-3. Already the round count for Ferris State off of that extremely powerful defensive side. And now, with that round, the OSA shield being set up so much earlier in the round contributed greatly to Ferris State's victory at the end there. They had this long angle that was just impossible to play off of. And I think that Ferris State's attack really kind of came off the back of being able to kill Tango there. Because Tango was sitting on that pillar that was kind of looking outside, and the nade that went out didn't quite get him, only dropped about 30 of his HP. And even though he was kind of in an unwinnable situation against the OSA shield there, the fact that he was still remaining there was all that Ferris State was waiting on in order to make their point of ingress into the site itself. And as soon as Tango died, you saw Ferris State go through the site. You saw them get plant down, and then they have the OSA shield outside for them to win the round. And it's just impossible at that point for them to win. But anyway, 6-3 for Ferris State. Nearly done here. Match point if things go Ferris State's way. I say nearly done here because 1 point away with Ferris State again having this great round advantage. I'm reading the script ahead of time. Ferris State probably wins it, but we've seen this script before. Akron has the ability to win things on defense. We've seen them do it on Skyscraper on a map that they weren't comfortable with. So even if Lair is a newer map and a map that they also might not be potentially comfortable with, they could also win it out here just as well. Waiting for the Kite Claw to go onto the wall, might be waiting for the right audio cue for this to come through. Nade goes flying out somewhere, not sure entirely where that went. Capalot and Crimson's having a little bit of a back and forth with each other. Capalot coming out 22 HP less comparatively. Again, both of these OSA shields being planted outside. Ferris State trying to get their way in here. Might have to go for a separate angle, though. C4 being held down. Florida Boy going for the main wall, which has been hit with Kite Claw. Disabled by the Thatcher grenade for now. Ferris State not entirely... They don't look entirely confident in this attack right now. What had worked for them in the previous round is not working at all. Florida Boy can't get the wall open. He's already down one exothermic charge. So might have to go for a different angle. Loop back around behind Bunks here. Potentially. To go for the backside. The backside from like green stairs maybe. If they can get this wall open. But if they do, they'll be met with the body of Crimsons, who's on this lurk approach. So this lateral take that Ferris State has been doing has been foiled so far, and they'll need to find a solution. They'll need to find it quick.
Dude gets a pick onto VDOG, establishing the man advantage, at least for now. Looks like Ferris State's still going to try to get this wall open by the security terrace, and they do get it open after much deliberation. And Akron's ability to really make FSU's offense, or attack I should say, dormant. Get it open with about 30 seconds left. 4v3. Just trying to hit that headshot on the cap lot. Can't quite land it. Big thing here is Ferris State does not have diffuser in hand currently, but it's still 2v2. 3 reigns into the site. It's a 1v1. It's all up to Zone. Can he clutch it up? And he does for Ferris State, and they win the matchup. And they go on to 2-0 in the Midwest R6 Fall 2024 season. Wow, what a finish.
Absolutely stellar. Ferris State standing steadfast in the way of wanting to get their lateral take done through the Bunks wall off of CC Balk. And that was... Initially, I was criticizing it because it seemed a little bit too straightforward. It seemed a little bit like they were trying to just... let's do the one thing that we did last round because it worked. And it almost seemed like Akron read into it well. But once they were able to get that wall open, they knew, okay, I know exactly where I need to be. We know exactly where these players are going to be sitting. And things fell into place for Ferris State. Coming down to only 7 seconds in the round, Capelot looping all the way around through meeting to claim the 2 players from behind was also a stellar pick for the round, and Void being able to win out the duel at the end against the player playing Maestro. That was just everything fell into place for Ferris State at the end of the day, and absolutely deserved the 7-3 win on the decider map here of Lair.
Yeah, I think overall this was an absolutely excellent matchup for both sides of the coin. I mean, you know, what we saw from Akron earlier on with triumph in overtime, and then we see FSU kind of establish some resilience per se on the Chalet map, and then, you know, just now Lair taking control once they were on defense first, and that's really what set them up for this victory.
Yeah, it really was. The defensive rounds were all that they needed. They've been steadfast and absolutely stellar so far. Ferris State going into the next week of Midwest R6, 2-0. Akron, after their bye, only finds themselves with a defeat after a very hard-fought 3-map series. I think that will be it. No, we'll be going into an interview here. I'm not sure whom we have, but we're going for a break after this just to make sure we can get that all set up. Just sit tight. We'll be right back.
Pick from IUPUI, the flash comes out, trying to push out connector. I'm sorry. And now it's looking like a 1v right there, waiting for the drop. It go down. We'll see one. Push when they got him pushed back.
Gets another one.
they're gonna.
Yeah. But it feels weird because like in an ace so fast, it's just getting so fast to die.
You are going to have 60 seconds to name from memory as many R6 operators as you possibly can. Do not repeat any, as they will not count in your final score. You are going to have 60 seconds on the clock, and best of luck.
Ash, Thermite, Pulse, Castle, Mute, Thatcher, Smoke, Sledge, Twitch, Montaigne, Rook, let's go, Twitch. I already named Twitch. Let's see, IQ, Blitz, Bandit, Jaeger, Blackbeard,
30
Valkyrie,
seconds.
Kavera, Capitao, Mira, Jackal, Mozzie, Warden, Solus, Azami, Ram,
10
Brava,
seconds.
Ace.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Not fast.
You're good. Yeah, it's a lot tougher than people think, huh?
Yeah.
You got all
Yeah,
these
very
operators in the
much.
game, and it's tough to name them off in memory. You are going to have 60 seconds to name from memory as many R6 operators as you possibly can. Do not repeat any, as they will not count in your final score. You are going to have 60 seconds on the clock, and best of luck.
Alright, Ash, Thermite, Mute, Smoke, Castle, Pulse. We'll go Tuberow, Valkyrie, Blackbeard, Buck, Frost, Blitz, Jaeger, IQ, Bandits, Yana, Oryx. We'll go Kavera, Capitao, Habana, Echo, Jackal,
30
Mira.
seconds.
Then we have Ella, Ying, Legion, Zafia, Vigil, and Dokkaebi. And after that we have Lion, Lion Finka, Maestro Alibi. Oh shoot. Then we have, who am I forgetting? Tachanka, Capcan.
5, 4,
Use
3,
Blaz.
2.
Oh.
That's it.
Alright.
Well,
I tried to fire. That's
you
the big
tried to-
DLCs, bro. But then I couldn't think of who's after, like, was it White Noises whenever I was like, oh god.
You were going through them real quick.
No list, no cheater, no cheater.
I think there was a list there. You were being a little too
Nah, bro.
specific.
We got Metal Eye here. Metal Eye's running just fine.
Alrighty, we're back from the break with a post-game interview with Ferris State University's Capilot after that exciting best of 3 series between them and Akron Club Gold. So first question I have for you, Capilot, is what was the mentality for FSU heading into tonight's matchup?
Oh, confident. As always, confident. We knew we were going to win. We might drop some rounds. We might have dropped the map, but we were going to come out with a win anyways. No matter who our opponent is.
That's nice. I like the confidence. So my next question was, so we saw that Akron Club Gold was able to come back in that first map of Skyscraper, and to the mental that might have affected a little bit for you guys. But how were you guys able to come together for map 2 of Chalet and really formulate a game plan in order to really even the series up at 1-1, and after that, have a nice showing on layers? So how was that able to be put together?
Oh, well, Chalet is our map. We don't lose that no matter what. That was our pick. We came into that confident. We knew we were going to take it no matter what. There was nothing Akron could have done. And then layer was a little rocky at first. We've only ever scrimmed it once. We came in cocky, confidence, and we just showed out.
It's awesome stuff. And my final question to you, Capilot, is what will the team look to accomplish next week? I mean, you guys are 2-0 on the season already. I mean,
believe
is
next week
3-0 possibility?
I believe we have a bye next week.
Okay.
Yes.
Alrighty. So following week, what will the team accomplish?
Yeah, hopefully you're gonna bring it 3-0. I mean, what else could we hope for? Try not to drop a round. Try not to drop a map. Highest round differential in Midwest is what we want.
All right. Well, you heard it straight from the source, Capilot from FSU. Hats off to you and the team for tonight's amazing performance. Gave about 80 viewers a chance to see some great R6 gameplay. And hats off to Akron Club Gold as well.
And we did our best. We did our best.
And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that will be the conclusion of the Week 2 Midwest R6 stream. Be sure to come back next Thursday night at the same time, 7 p.m. for Week 3 stream. But for now, I am Turbo Juggler 32 signing out.
I'm Sojourner Kai. Thank you for watching the cast, and thank you, Capilot, for a very entertaining 3-game series. And we'll see you guys next week.